This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, it's like 4 movies stacked inside one movie. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Overstuffed Steve Sadak.
Rick Seasick.
Crabhead Cabin.
Chelsea Jupin.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. The pirate mania continues around here with the second one, Dead Man's Chest from 2006, directed by Gore Verbinski. And suffering through it with us this week is, of course, Chelsea Jupin, my wife and quarantine partner. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I think it's been about 2 seconds.
We did all sorts of stuff today. We sat in front of computers. We unloaded groceries. It's been a real blast around here.
Took the dog out wearing face masks because that's how you have to do it now.
Yep.
So yeah, Pirate Fever has settled in here on the show. And I will say, this is the one I've seen the most times.
You saw this more than once?
I definitely did. This
Okay.
was this movie came out the last summer I worked at the multiplex as a projectionist.
Right. It was right after we graduated from college.
Yeah, so I had like the late closing shift working in the booth. And so I saw like the last 20 minutes of this movie a ton. And then I would go out to Taco Bell at like 1 o'clock in the morning when it was over with and go get dinner. But then, yeah, it was just Andrew's buying DVDs and I was watching this. It sucks.
I was telling Steve earlier that I've never so felt a movie happening at me. Like it just passed through me, and it was
Like a
so,
kidney stone, Kevin?
Yeah, like, but not like, oh my. At least a kidney stone, there's pain and there's struggle.
So it was
But
nothing?
like, geez, it was just nothing.
Is your hair all
Nothingness.
blown out like Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters 2 with the ghost train?
I'm just picturing Kevin watching all these actors with their heads on pikes and he's screaming.
Hey Chris, what was in the Dead Man's Chest? I missed it.
Was this anyone's first time with this Pirates movie?
No.
No, I mean, I saw this in the theaters like everyone else, like
Yeah.
or I assume. And by the way, it's okay to like a movie. And I will say the costumes are nice.
I like the fish people. I'm a fan of them. I saw this. This is my second time seeing this. The first time I was staunchly against that first Pirates movie, so I just avoided this in theaters. And my dad had a sick bootleg for a while. My dad was getting bootlegs, and we would go over there to hang out. He would just put on a boot, and they were the worst movies of all time. The only ones I remember specifically were this, which took fucking forever. If you could imagine how long this movie would be on a bootleg, like with like worse sound quality and worse special effects.
half out of focus.
Exactly. This and that terrible Will Ferrell, which might be the worst movie ever made, that Land of the Lost movie.
Oh, dude, that was a hard skip.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I saw it once, but I remember it being bad, and I never went back to that one.
I saw this in theaters. I saw the first one and liked it. I haven't heard your guys' episode on it yet, so I don't know. I thought it was fun, but this one I did not enjoy. I also had an annoying theater going experience seeing this one. I went with my sister. We were in the first row, which is like my least favorite thing to do. And it was because we'd gotten into a fight in the parking lot with someone who came in and stole the spot as we were turning into it.
Fucking parking space terrorist.
Yeah. And so I've kind of wondered if I misjudged this movie because of that experience. I think it was fair. Yeah.
You were likely generous.
Yeah, maybe.
Quick question at the top of the show before it gets away from us. Do you guys think that hentai kind of influenced anything here?
Oh, probably.
It's a lot of tentacle stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you wouldn't let that get away, Eric. I'm glad you were afraid. You saw it slipping away, and you're like, no.
I was
no.
like, wait,
No, because
wait.
Eric is totally right here, though. This movie is doing it for a lot of people because
Absolutely.
it's not just the Kraken, but it's this fucking army of barnacle pirates, dude.
Yeah.
Some of these fish fuckers have squid stuff that could go places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, are these is everyone a former sailor that becomes a fish, or they're actual fish people as well?
No, I think it's you become a sailor, and I looked this up a little bit. You can tell who's been on the ship the longest, the more fishy
up
they
they
are.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Well, because
So,
there's
like-
that dude that's like fucking built into the wall like a Harry Potter character.
Right.
There's a guy who has like a tree branch for a face. So like he's got to be the oldest one.
I just kind of want to, like, 6 months in, Will Turner just wakes up. He's like, Dad, my Willie's a bronzino. What happened, Dad?
What? So wait, your whole cock is turning into a fish?
Yes.
It's like
I
a
mean,
full-on
It's
fish?
different for everybody, Andrew. It's different for everybody.
now calm down, son. It happens to us all. It does.
Yeah, dude, it's just a rite of passage. It's like fucking Teen Wolf.
I got myself a cord down there.
Hey, you better not be catch of the day in there. I don't know.
I will say this movie makes the huge mistake, and it's a mistake that I think this and certainly the next one do, which I did see in theaters, the only one I did see in theaters, is that the mythology and the lore and the story has to be so big.
Yep.
Why can't this just be Pirates of the Caribbean 2, The Hunt for Somebody's Doubloons? And we're
Absolutely.
just looking for a treasure chest somewhere. There's some back dealing, but it's all, and you could have some scary stuff because the first one had it, but like relatively simple.
Yes,
Yes.
but this is how you get people really coming back for number 3, which you are already making at this point.
But I do appreciate that this movie has like a pseudo-negative Empire type ending to it.
Yeah.
I
You know
think
what
it's
I mean?
unnecessary. I agree, but I just don't think that this series needs to go quite so gloomy. It should just
Right.
be about Johnny Depp fucking around.
Like it's a Disney kids movie based on a ride. It is a
Yes.
weird tone for it to take.
Wait a second, guys. I totally forgot. We have our resident Florida expert
Uh-huh.
in studio. Because
Yeah.
because in the last episode we were trying to think about that ride and whatnot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
So Chelsea, you grew up in Miami.
Yeah.
You went to Disney World a lot.
Yeah.
Did you go on that ride?
Sure. of
What are we
course.
talking?
What do you mean?
so
It
was it
looks
like-
like the movie.
No, but okay, that was a dumb question. But was it like an action show kind of ride? Were you in a cart? Were you in a boat?
You're in a boat, like on a track. It's kind of more like, hey, look around than anything. The
Mhm.
pirates don't really interact with you.
That's
So
good.
it's not like the Jungle Cruise where there's like interaction.
Oh wait, the Rock's talking to you in Jungle Cruise ride?
I'll
Or
be
who
honest.
The Rock is playing. I don't know.
I'll be honest. I was doing a lot of looking around while watching this. I was looking around at anything else that was in the house.
I
Just
agree,
like the
but
ride.
Chelsea, since you've gone, because I mean, I must have gone. I've gone to Disney twice. Once as a kid, once as an adult. I very remember specifically the adult time. Johnny Depp was there. Do you remember it pre-Pirates the movie? Because they did change it.
I went to Disney World the last time this summer. The first one came out. So I haven't seen the Johnny Depp
okay.
Pirates.
But that when you went, so you went summer of '03 when this first one
Yes.
came out. Was the ride open then? Because wasn't it closed for a while or something?
I don't remember.
Or they had to change it to make it like kind of more family friendly once the movie came out. Because it wasn't there like pirates like running after ladies and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
there's
I feel like they had to have kept that. That's kind of a staple of the ride. The thing I know is that they did add like a Johnny Depp
so there's like a straight up.
animatronic. Yeah.
Oh, it's an animatronic.
yeah, they're
Yes.
all animatronics.
Oh, I thought these were people.
No,
running
no,
around.
no.
Oh, this ride's getting worse all the time.
it's
It's
all
pretty much
animatronic. Yeah.
a wet Hall of Presidents, pretty much.
Basically, yes. Yeah. A dark, wet Hall of Presidents. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Which is why they had to
behind that.
which is why they kind of had to close it, because there was a rash of people jerking off in the boats for a while.
Oh,
And that just-
sure.
yeah, that just
I'll-
was it.
You know what's a good thing, and it's a way that this starts off. For a minute, I thought this was the November Rain video.
Yes.
For a second there, I thought Axel was going to come out and go, "Oh, November Rain." I was really, but then I was like, oh no, fuck, it's this 2.5 hour movie.
He should have been. There was I read this in the last one that Jimmy Buffett was approached to be a pirate in the
man.
last movie, and he was too busy.
What?
That's insane.
I
Doing
just
what,
could you
dude?
imagine being like somebody like hold for Jimmy Buffett, please? And it's like, what? It's just Jimmy Buffett Industries.
There's a Margaritaville in New Mexico that's opening up, baby. Time to do an appearance.
With this movie, they might have wanted to put like a seashell on his head or something, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Nah."
Oh, do you think he was like, I demand to look exactly how I look at all times? Like,
Right.
continuity be damned.
Or like
Exactly.
Hawaii doesn't exist. You can't be wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Look,
It's-
I'll do it if I get to play the guy who brought margaritas to the pirates. I want to teach Jack Sparrow how to make a margarita.
That sounds like a-
more out of rum. You know me. Oh, what's that?
I just want to say I know that Hawaii existed, but that it wasn't a state.
Correct.
So
Yeah. Also,
just-
probably Hawaiian shirts did not.
You do
Exa-
that-
that's
in
the
that capacity.
thing I was saying. But
Welcome to the
just-
show, Chelsea. You do want to stop those tweets in real time. You do. You really do.
Absolutely.
I'm so afraid.
Absolutely.
I like bringing the margaritas to the pirates. It sounds like a Thanksgiving type of thing.
You know what it could be, honestly, and I bet they had this written for if the cameo went down. He's like playing some like dirtbag dude, maybe a pirate, maybe not, and he's just like, "Oi there, Jack Sparrow, how about this, a little tequila?" And Jack Sparrow like spits in his face, and he's like, "Sorry, love, rum only." Ugh.
What I would go all full hog. Maybe it's Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Search for the enchanted lost shaker of salt. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe it grants immortality. You know.
Look, everybody, we're gonna set course for the cheeseburger in paradise. Savvy?
They got to get to the world's end because that's where the salted rim is.
We gotta lick the salted rim, love.
Now we just need a
Uh,
giant lime.
This movie, I guess, more or less picks up where the last one left off to a degree. It's their wedding day. It's raining Alanis Morissette fans. And like, what you don't want to have happen on your wedding day is for the government to storm into the venue and demand your arrest and immediate execution.
Why do you think my wedding was so small? I didn't want anyone catching on.
Oh my
Go,
God.
go, go!
This is crazy though, because it's like they even like she's the governor of this province or whatever, this territory's, daughter, and this guy just coming from the outside who's like a lord. So I guess I don't know what the royal hierarchy is, but he is East Indian Trading Company, Chris.
Eric, it's Lord Beckett. The most evil motherfucker that's ever existed. Lord Beckett. Isn't he
Inform the
like
commander that Lord Beckett's shuttle has arrived.
he's like the main villain in other than like the squid face. He is like the main villain of this series.
But I've never seen a villain do so little.
Yeah.
Like this dude does in this movie. This dude does diddly dick.
Yeah.
Well, this movie is so diffuse in what it's trying to do. There's so many little side quests, and like later on, the two comedic Mackenzie Crook and the other guy have to be like, "All right, there's a 3-sided sword fight. Let me tell you, the audience, what the fuck's even happening."
Dude, Chelsea
like,
and I
you've
were
lost
talking
it.
about this before we went on the air. Like, if your movie has to stop dead,
Right.
so two obnoxious tertiary characters
So your Rosencrantz and Guildenstern can tell you what's
Yep.
going on.
get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. Now, is everyone playing along at home?
But at the same time, right before they did that, I had copied and pasted some of the Wikipedia plot summary into my notes because I was so confused. So
Of
then,
course you did, though.
then when they explained it, I was like, "Oh, thanks, guys."
That's not your
Thanks,
fault. But
guys.
it's like if you have characters in your movie doing that, and like, yeah, you're kind of like playing it off as a joke. It also means that you're concerned your audience isn't going to follow the movie,
Right.
and that's a
Some dis-
problem.
Bob Iger was like, "What the fuck is this movie?" And they're like, "All right, we need to have somebody explain it to him."
Here's
And who better than our two best, most favorite, hilarious side pirates of all time, These two guys.
If Disney Plus had existed, they would have gotten their own like shorts, series, everything.
Absolutely.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're right.
Yeah.
That'd be Disney negative.
Come on.
I mean, there's scenes in this feel like extras that you would put on a DVD extra thing,
Yeah.
like the Lloyd and what's his name from Get Smart fucking thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
But they just shoved it into this movie to make it fucking 2.5 hours.
Ever since I stopped working for Disney, I've been Disney negative, actually.
What's the deal with this like torture palace in the opening here? Where it's like out of Game of Thrones. Like this dude's getting his eyes eaten out by crows.
Is this like the coffin factory part?
Yes.
Where there's like dudes that are just like, my job is a coffin tosser.
Yep.
Coffin comes down, I toss it into the water.
And it is the most brutal and awesome part of this movie. And the crow eating the dude's eye out. I'm like, oh shit, get Odin on the case here, man. It rules,
Absolutely.
but it doesn't do anything. And I don't know, like, this is where he gets the map, which is what the shape the key is.
Correct. And I will say, keeping in line with the first movie, he does also have a cool entrance in this movie.
It's
do
fun,
like him
Mhm.
shooting through the coffin and doing kind of like a Bugs Bunny thing with the gun as like a periscope almost.
Nobody gives me an Osama bin Laden funeral love.
Dude, if you think they gave Bin Laden a box, dude, you got another thing coming.
Now, yeah, they gave him an apartment in New York City is what they gave him.
That or
I'll show you those documents.
he's in the Davy Jones's locker now, right?
Mhm.
Because he got thrown in the ocean, and the ocean is dominated by the ocean's devil, which we come to know as Davy Jones and his Flying Dutchman.
Oh,
Yes.
so it's been about a decade. Do you think what kind of fish parts do you think Osama's got at this point?
Oh,
Well, he's
that's a
definitely
good
got
question.
that cod dick you were talking about, dude.
Well, but that beard, he definitely has some squid or some octopus, I think.
Mm.
Sure.
I think
Yes.
the octopus beard actually looks pretty good, and I think the CGI really holds up in this movie. I was surprised.
I
Depp
was
does.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Nighy rules and looks really cool in this movie.
He does, but it's so much that I was like, how much is Bill Nighy even there? Did he like come to set? Has he? It's a bit
Probably
much, I
not.
think. I
It
don't
is.
know.
No, I think you're right.
Because he's also not the main source of like the conflict. There's so much other bullshit going on
Yep.
that he just kind of gets drowned out.
But it's ass because he's supposed to be the villain of the movie.
You would think, wouldn't you? You would fucking think.
No, we spend more time with fucking dumb cannibals than we do figuring out what the hell his shit is. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they get arrested. Keira Knightley, for the first half of this movie and some towards the middle, is aggressively horny. That's like her only character trait.
Dude, she's biting this lower lip. I thought she was going to start to bleed, dude. It was insane. She's looking at Johnny Depp that way. She's looking at that fucking pirate that looks like Neil Young that way.
It's just very weird for your only female character, essentially. Like that's all because she's like, oh, it's supposed to be my wedding day, and I get it. You know what I mean? Hey, but come
Who's not horny on their wedding day?
Also, it's a women in prison film for a while with her.
on.
I didn't remember this movie all that well, even though I have seen this one more than the last one. But I was like, is she locked in this cage the whole film?
Yes.
And it's like,
Thankfully, she's not.
you
But
know,
I was like, is this the way the wind's blowing here with this movie?
We might have gotten more Jonathan Pryce that way, though.
Ooh.
that would have been a trade up, but like she could have escaped or something. Instead, it's what it comes down to is Lord Beckett's like, okay, I'll have you leave then. You find the compass.
Well, right, because Jonathan Pryce like tries to get her broken out, or is that how she gets
Right.
locked up in the first place?
She gets locked up multiple times. She gets locked up at the wedding, and then Jonathan Pryce does try to break her out. She gets locked up again, and then something happens where she's able to have like a little one-on-one with Lord Beckett, and then they realize they could work together.
right.
So Jonathan Pryce barters. She gets arrested. Will gets sent off to find Jack Sparrow's magical compass. Yes, I said that correctly. And
You know, I have to say about the compass really quickly. At no point in that first movie is it ever hinted at, as far as I could tell, that compass is magic.
Yeah.
It's like he's just this drunk that's looking at this compass.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
haha, it doesn't work. And that's like the end of the story.
Nope, magic. And you need the magic compass to find the magic piece of cloth that outlines the magic ring, to find the magic ring to open the magic chest.
Dude, it is
a lot.
really something.
Quite a lot.
So Keira Knightley escapes because Jonathan Pryce barters for her freedom, but then this guy double crosses her, and then when he double crosses her, she escapes into the night, and then this is when she confronts him with a gun, and he's like, "All right, you're not just escaping, now you have to find the compass or whatever." This guy's motivation, I guess, is he wants the chest to control the seas.
Yeah.
I think the trading routes, right? Because he's the
Yes.
East India Trading Company or whatever. I do appreciate this film and this franchise for moving towards this direction of like, you know what's worse than pirates, love? Companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, it's-
Incorporated businesses.
It does have, I mean, and the last movie has this a little bit, but this one more so is like the real evil, like pirates are a source of freedom as opposed to corporate slavery, question mark.
Right. And like he even has a speech, I think it's with Keira Knightley about how, or maybe he's talking with Jonathan Pryce about how like, you know, pirates are like passe and like the lifestyle of Jack Sparrow is like a thing of the past and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of interesting that these movies are set at this point where it's like there's a changing in society a little bit here. Sort of like the ass end of piratery almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the thing though is, doesn't he want the compass explicitly? Because
Yes.
the compass we come to learn points you towards the direction of whatever it is in life that you want the most. Okay.
It's trading routes for everyone.
Yeah.
I can find my fucking refrigerator, guys. I got it. That's what my beard food is. That's all I've got these days.
It's trading routes, but it's also like you control the agent of Davy Jones. Like Davy Jones can do all your wet work.
Right. So, like, if a rival trading company,
Yeah.
you can make a squall happen. I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
With
get some
Squid Face.
squalls going.
Maybe.
Or the
I don't know.
Kraken, right?
Oh, yeah.
Squall is just a word I know.
Yeah, you
from that
control the
White Squall
Kraken.
movie anyway.
Oh, the movie White Squall with
Yes.
Jeff Bridges and Scott Wolf.
And Ethan Embry and like a whole bunch of other 97 Dreamboat. I
Yes,
don't remember.
there
Brian
was a-
Phillippe. I've
Yep.
seen it many times at many sleepovers.
It was a Dreamboat movie.
It
I
was
never
a
saw
real
it.
Dreamboat movie.
Isn't there like a trial in that movie though for some
Yes.
reason?
Yeah, like they're taken to maritime court. I don't know. By that point, all the dreamboats are dead, and I stopped.
You
paying
were in
attention.
court. You were in court for being a dreamboat.
Jeff Bridges, you will now hang from the neck till dead for the murder of exactly 21 dreamboats.
Is that what that movie's about? Like
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges kills kids because of the squall?
Oh, it was the
I mean,
storm.
they died
The
in
storm
the
did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
I see.
But I think
storm
he's
told me to
held.
do it.
I also haven't seen this movie since I was at a sleepover. So if I'm remembering wrong,
I
apologies.
saw it
Gotcha.
about 2 years ago. It's awfully boring,
Were
but
you at a 13-year-old girl sleepover?
I was in the
Definitely was.
and there are a lot of tight white tees in there, man.
It's,
Wait,
it's, a
it's
great
looking good.
movie.
At the sleepover or in the movie?
That's a sleepover too.
Speaking of, I've been kind of circling this movie for possible future episode, and I've never seen it, but I remember the trailer being ridiculous as a Dreamboat movie. Wild America, Chelsea, have you seen it?
What one was that?
That's it's got Devon Sawa and like JTT is in it, and they're like three brothers fucking
Yeah.
around with lions for some reason.
Oh, I remember this movie.
That's my favorite adaptation of The Revenant.
I might have seen it.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
remember it.
Got it.
Because I keep thinking I did, but I'm just thinking of the Tom and Huck movie that the two of them were in.
Yes.
Oh, Devon Sawa was Huckleberry Finn in that movie?
No,
Actually,
it's Brad
no.
Renfro actually.
Ah.
R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P.D.
Uh,
So yeah, there's another thing where like Beckett has I guess Beckett knows Jack Sparrow because he branded him with like the pirate P at one
Right.
point. Doesn't really come to anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in another movie because I definitely slept through on Stranger Tides, and then didn't see the
Well,
other
it's
two.
at World's End next, right?
Oh, at World's
Yeah.
End. Excuse me.
Right.
That's what I
yeah.
meant.
I don't remember any of the sequels either. In fact, I thought some of the set pieces from this movie were in later movies, and it was not. And that was the wheel.
I actually realized. Funny. Speaking of the wheel, dude. Exactly. I was mixing up. I was combining this movie and the first movie because last week I was watching the movie and I was like, "Oh, where's this part? Where's that part?" And All those parts that I thought were missing were in this movie.
Eric, you weren't wrong about the wheel. They just do it again in a later movie.
Do
Really?
they really?
There's a whole scene that's
Oh.
just the scene again.
No.
I
Wait,
can't wait.
Cabin, have you seen all of these?
I have not seen the very last one,
Gotcha.
but the other ones, yeah.
So at one point, like after he breaks out of the coffin, like he's back on, I think it's the Black Pearl with all his dudes and whatnot.
It is very hard to tell which ship is which.
Absolutely.
Yes. I believe it is the Black Pearl, though.
And this is where I guess it's a spectral projection of Stellan Skarsgård, or maybe Bill Nighy let him off the ship to come to the Black Pearl and
I think it's
give a
ghost
warning.
power?
He had a
know.
ghost Rumspringa, and he decided to go there.
But this is Stellan Skarsgård as Bootstrap Bill Turner, Will Turner's father, who's only mentioned about in the first film. Here he is, and he says, "Time's run out, Jack. Something, time to pay the fiddler, whore."
It's a great. He's got a great pirate voice. I mean, that's just Stellan Skarsgård,
Yeah.
Skarsgård in general.
Yeah.
But it's a great pirate voice. I'll give it to him.
Actually, dude, if you just isolated lines he has in any of those abysmal first two Thor movies and just like put like ocean waves like shushing behind it, you probably could confuse some people. Like, "I, the Tesseract."
Plus, it does kind of work having him be like a kind of weird looking guy with attractive sons.
Yes,
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
right.
since that's apparently how it works. in
That's a
his family.
fuckable family, man.
Yeah.
I'm imagining the way that he relates to Jack Sparrow in this is how Skarsgård in real life relates to Von Trier.
In what capacity?
So
What do
like
you
he's
mean?
just like, "You're gonna get caught one of these days. You can't keep on saying you empathize with Hitler. You can't say that, Lars. It's gonna catch up with you one of these days."
Aye,
keep getting
13
back.
years are up, Lars. You've been banned from the Cannes Film Festival.
Damn it, Steve, you beat me to a band from the Cannes Film Festival joke. Yar, you're persona non grata from Isle de Cannes Film Festival.
Lars von Trier might be a pirate, right? Because he famously doesn't fly.
Yeah.
So I assume he takes the high seas.
Is
Sure,
that part of
yes, sure.
Dogma 93? Is that or
Yes.
Yeah, part of the Dogma initiative, Steve, you're absolutely right. It was you had to shoot everything on shitty, like awful early digital video. You had to use non-actors, and yes, you had to take a boat everywhere you went.
well, specifically by pirate ship.
Specifically pirate ships. So he's like, "Hey man, Davy Jones sent me time's up on whatever he's got a bevy of life debts against his soul, old Jack Sparrow does. And Davy Jones is saying, "Hey, it's time to come home and you start your service with me, which is like you're a coral reef pirate for the next 100 years. And that's it. Go fuck yourself, Jack Sparrow."
what happens after the 100 years? If I join up as like a 30-year-old man,
Right.
do I come back as a 30-year-old man, or am I just turned into a skeleton at that point?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, Steve, I heard stupendous retirement plan.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
There's one part where Bootstrap Bill says, like, "Well, I'm going to let you or help Orlando Bloom out of this mess. Like, what are they going to do to me? Like, come on,
Yeah.
they've done everything." And that shows you the fallacy of not only Davy Jones's locker, but hell, and how that doesn't exist either. Because after hundreds of years, like, nothing's going to matter or mean anything anymore. You can't torture forever.
True.
Yeah.
So the other thing he says is, "Oh, and by the way, if you don't come back to the Dutchman and do this, Davy Jones has sent a little present your way. Hello, the Kraken."
And does he give him this weird black mark here? Is that what he does? He like
Skarsgård gives it to him. Yeah.
And it is a tracker.
It's that's how the Kraken can find him, is the idea.
By like tracking, presumably.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
by
glad you guys
tracking
are
the-
mentioning this because
yeah.
I did not remember that detail. I was just like, oh, I guess that's another one of these curses I've heard about.
well, I think somebody even says about Johnny Depp or about Jack Sparrow that he's twice cursed. I'm like, it's a lot of curses, dude. It's like a gambling addict.
Seriously, dude,
Yeah.
once is enough, man. I'm
What-
cursed one time, forget it.
What an interesting character.
Can we talk about the quick scene with these two like Eastern European pirates on this boat? Or maybe they're not pirates.
They're Turkish.
Are they?
The subtitles told me so.
Oh, excellent. These poor bastards, dude. They fucking find, is it Jack Sparrow's hat?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, look at me in this fancy hat
I
and
got
everything.
a great hat. Yeah.
And then, like, it's like, and this is, I hate when movies do this where it's like we're trying to keep the monster secret. So the first time the monster attacks a thing, it looks one way, but then the monster decides to change its plan of attack going forward. Because in this scene, it's like, oh, what's that noise? And then the boat is like shunk, just like pulled under the water. Not a tentacle to be found. There's no basement weirdos jerking off at that.
It's very cartoonish. It's like when Daffy Duck's body got pulled down and his head stayed up. And like the long neck, and he's like, he said, "Mother," and then like that's what it looks like when this ship goes down.
There is a lot of cartooning in this, more than the last film. Like when they try to escape the cannibals and the pole, and he's jumping around, it is very like Acme brand.
Yeah,
and I wonder if it's to sort of, they think that making a lot of cartoony parts and a lot of weird, scary, disgusting parts equals a children's movie. Like if we just throw a lot of children's stuff on it, it all sort of balances out. And I don't know if I think that it does.
I don't think it does either, but it is that kind of equation, like
something for everyone.
Exactly. Like there's stuff in here for the parents to watch while they take the kids to this movie. But in this instance, all of these movies are PG-13 as far as I understand.
Yeah, look, we got something for everyone. The kids will love Jack acting like Bugs Bunny. The teenage boy will like fucking horny Keira Knightley. The weird kids will like the Kraken. Mom will like Stellan Skarsgård, I bet.
Weird mom will like
who
the
is?
Kraken.
I'm sorry. Who is giving the moms Stellan Skarsgård? What?
All right, the Swedish moms will like Stellan Skarsgård.
Even that, I think Mrs. Skarsgård and Mrs. Skarsgård alone. I don't know.
It's not like Mamma Mia Skarsgård either. He's got a clamshell on his cheek.
He's got a fucking starfish on his forehead.
Quick question. I did not see Mamma Mia. Is he hot as fuck in that movie?
It's about as hot as he's gonna get.
Beachy, Greeky looking.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now that happens
nice,
because Meryl Streep is cursed by Davy Jones in Mamma Mia. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're near the
Doomed
ocean.
to eternity to not know who fathered Amanda Seyfried.
Got it.
Oh, do we have the answer to that, by the way?
I've never seen either Mamma Mia movie. I'm talking like I know it, and I do know.
I do know the answer to that question.
Of course you do.
Chris Cabin, elaborate right now.
It's Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, nice, dude.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye, he'll get you pregnant. Something.
Yeah, I like it.
Just thinking about lurking in the shadows. I'm like, I don't know.
Question, by the way, there's not a question, I guess, but to speak of the horniness in this movie, Will and Elizabeth are super fucking horny, kind of at the jump.
But they also have like 2 scenes together.
Yeah, I know, but one of the scenes they have together is horny as fuck when she's locked up.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he's like, all right, here's the deal. I just made this agreement. All I have to do is go get this fucking key or the compass from Jack Sparrow, bring it back to this weird turd, and you'll be set free. And she says something about like, oh, like I wish I can't wait to have you or something like that. Or he says that. So one of them says it and the other one says, if it weren't for these bars, I'd have you already.
Yes.
And both of them bite their lips at the same time.
I think she might have said that actually. So I think you're right on the hornia meter for her.
I think you're right, dude. She does say, because I just remembered the punchline on that exchange is Jonathan Pryce like falls over.
And I think when we first go to this prison and she's in there, there's like dudes in the other cell that are like, oh, let me try to grab you. It's
yep.
Like,
well, and that's a definite. They're doing the bit from the ride. That's a definite copy of it. The same with the dog is also from the ride.
Right. The dog was in the first movie as well, because I think it was the same band of guys basically that were like, oh, give me the key, dog.
Yes, that's exactly. They do that in the ride.
But
is this
with
the same dog?
with the lady though?
there's a lot of with ladies, but also with the dog. I don't know. It's a kind of long ride.
Oh,
You're on
man,
it a little
dude,
bit.
these
You've been in
comics,
line for an hour. You gotta give them something.
They do it with dogs. They do it with ladies.
Eric, they do it with donkeys because they call back the donkey gag from the fucking first one because that's the first place the East India Company goes to look for them.
Yes.
Oh,
right. Well, actually, did you read the IMDb trivia? That's a different donkey.
Oh my
No,
god!
No, first donkey. Is he okay?
No, I made that up. No, it's just negotiations fell through with the first donkey.
So
He wanted too much money.
No,
Fucking betrayal, man.
I was just worried it didn't make it. It was hard enough with everything that happens to the dog. I immediately went on to that doesthedogdie.com, whatever. I was like, oh no, what is going to happen to this dog?
Well,
this
that
movie?
dog is left abandoned on an island full of cannibals.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
I don't understand
Which,
why
by
the
the way-
cannibals
Well,
are
but the
interested in
stinger
him.
scene. Did you watch the stinger?
Oh
Yes.
no, I did
Thank you.
not.
Thank you, Chelsea, for bringing up that stinger scene.
You're
it's
welcome.
very important.
Eric, since you usually miss the stinger scene, I'll let you explain it so you can
Okay,
fully,
well-
fully enjoy this moment.
The dog is left on the beach. It's chased by the cannibals while Jack Sparrow escapes. And in the stinger scene, the dog is now dressed up as the new god of the cannibals. But Jack Sparrow was going to be eaten by the cannibals as a god anyway.
Right, so
We'll
these
get there.
people are chowing down on this dog.
The dog's dead. That's what I'm saying.
More
fucked up.
importantly, I was curious because you were talking about Chelsea. I was like, is that donkey still alive? And donkeys live from 25 to 30 years. A donkey can live.
All right.
So the
Wow.
donkey is like having its own high seas adventure right now.
Well,
Exactly.
maybe it could have been like 28, in which case, what a terrible way to end your life.
I married it on international waters. that donkey is in a loving relationship now, married.
Well, yes, James. Actually, John Depp was just wonderful to work with again. I loved just eating hay in front of him. I thought that was wonderful.
So there's like a montage of Orlando Bloom looking for Johnny Depp, which is particularly stupid.
It reminds me a lot of the Mean Girls montage where it's everyone talking about Regina George before you meet her. When
Yes.
it's like, I hear her hair is
Yes.
insured for $10,000. They're like, oh, Jack Sparrow.
There's like some gag where, like, again, I guess he's like in some way or another enraged this prostitute because she's like, oh, Jack Sparrow, haven't seen him in a month. When you see him, will you give him this message? And she like slaps Orlando Bloom in the face.
That's
I
a
think
great
it's the same woman that slaps Johnny Depp in the first movie.
Is
the
he
idea.
not paying? Is that what's going on?
Dude, if you're ripping off prostitutes, man, that's some scuzzy shit.
It was like where it was an era where it's like, oh yeah, your lovable rogue character can abuse sex workers, and it's just like,
Now I'm just thinking of like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven hunting Johnny Depp.
I
Yes.
would love that. Yes,
Angered hookers.
And
You
he
know
ends
what-
up tracking him down on the island with the aforementioned cannibals. That
Yeah.
I don't think is probably a very culturally sensitive depiction.
No,
No.
probably not.
Probably not.
Diversity wise, this movie fails. Like, because like the first movie, at least, like Zoe Saldana was just a pirate. You know what I mean? Like she was just another pirate in the group.
Yeah.
But in this movie, like every person of color is either like a Haitian witch doctor situation and or a cannibal, and it's like, nah.
Does Zoe Saldana come back in the other three? I had not remembered she was in them until you were watching the first one.
I think because like this movie is 06, the next one was 07, and they're like back to back.
Yeah, I think she's
And then
back.
by that point, like whenever that fourth movie came around, I think she was just way too big of a star to play nothing pirate at that point. Because that first Star Trek movie,
2009, I think.
yeah. Did she have anything big before that or no?
Center stage.
So no.
That's something.
we watched that recently.
It's one of my favorite bad movies.
Isn't
and I
Center
love it.
Stage for like 2000 though?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Black Pearl has run aground because Johnny Depp is like freaking out about this curse and the Kraken's coming for him. So he's like, all right, we got to get to safety. We just got to find land. And the land that they find is this island. And you don't really see what happens until Orlando Bloom shows up. And yeah, it is like It is straight out of Raiders. Like, here are these like dangerous jungle people.
It's
Ooh.
more like the old racist Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yes. Yeah, like stuff that would be aired with a warning now.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually surprised that because Disney Plus is so fucking huge. On like, when did you guys see this? When you watch
The warning?
yeah, like, oh, this was made during a time when this wasn't culturally insensitive or whatever. But it's all like shit from like the 40s. Like, you'll see like a super racist like Goofy cartoon or something.
I thought you meant the warning on this. Right when you start to play this movie, there's a thing in the corner that's like, warning, tobacco depictions.
Oh, Jesus.
No, there's a thing like when you're reading the descriptions of old Disney shorts, at the end of the text it says like, content warning, this contains outdated and culturally insensitive themes and images or whatever it is. It's something like that.
Yeah.
But they're basically saying like, we didn't edit this shit out, but just know that this is there. I feel like you got to put that on this movie too. Okay, like this movie is 14 years old. There's some shit in here that shouldn't have been in here in the first place, but it is still here.
They're putting hair all over the bare asses. Put the hair all over the racism.
Yeah.
Just like make them really hairy. They're all cousin-its.
Oh fuck, dude, that is just a fucking planet of aliens.
The cannibal angle, like you can almost see it. It's like a kitsch factor at this point, but at the same time, don't like sit there for this goddamn long if you're gonna do it. Like, I don't know, like Raiders of the Lost Ark has indigenous people that fight Indiana Jones, and it's over and done with in like 5-10 minutes.
That's a good call, dude. This is like 40 minutes long.
It's a cold open because it has nothing to do with anything. Like, really, like, it's where Orlando Bloom and Johnny Depp hook up again, but that can happen in 5-10 minutes tops.
Exactly. And that's like, when you watch this sequence, it's like you're realizing it's got the same problems as that first movie has, where it's like, we got to go to this place, and then we're meeting up with this person, and now we're fucking switching this boat, and this person's going here instead.
It always seems way too easy to get on a ship in these movies. Like, they're in the middle of this. How do you get on a pirate ship in the middle of the sea?
They're finding them. They're like hailing cabs.
I don't understand. They make it seem way too easy. I think it should be harder.
And,
Can I say poober? It's pirate Uber, I guess.
Oh, poober, dude. Yeah. Yar. Welcome to poober. We somehow have better public relations and treat our employees better than Uber.
Well, Smitty is going to be here in 5 minutes.
Smitty. Captain Smitty.
Does he then rob you or what?
That's a great question.
They take more money than you thought they were going to take.
That's, I think, what it is. Like, you get there safely, but they steal shit from you.
And much like Uber and Lyft, you're a little afraid doing it alone as a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
There aren't actually that many ships there. There's more ships on the map than are actually, there's only one or two.
What the hell is Smitty doing?
We have to charge you more doubloons due to congestion sailing.
What the hell is Smitty doing? He's fucking sailing in circles. I just said 10 minutes.
Apologies, I had to stop to go to the bathroom.
Yar, I'm here. Where ye be? Where ye be?
Yar, I'm sailing out again in 5 minutes if you don't show up.
Yeah, I can't go as far as Puerto Rico. Etc.
So, I mean, and the other thing that's really problematic about sequences like this in these movies is like nothing comes out of it. I mean, like you said, Steve, this is where Johnny Depp meets Orlando Bloom again, but it's like, who gives a shit?
They could have met anywhere. He could have just, apparently you can just get on a boat. So that he could have just come onto his boat.
I mean, it's insane. There's nothing that changes from this. The only thing that happens is they leave a fucking dog behind.
Yeah, you're setting up the stinger scene. That's it.
But I think
we took 45 minutes to set up the stinger scene.
The action because they're in like cages that are circular. It's kind of cool.
That stuff's pretty cool,
it's
actually.
Neat. Yeah,
it's excuses
it goes on
for
too
set
long.
pieces, really.
Yeah.
Like it's all just about the action here. Those circular cages, Orlando Bloom is like, oh, where's the rest of the crew? And it's like, oh, they're the cage. So it's their bones of people they knew, which is kind of grisly.
That's
How
pretty
long
great.
have they been there?
Yeah. Again, dude, that's a great question with this movie specifically. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what the fucking timetable is supposed to be like with this movie.
Well, if they're not doing anything else other than that, I mean, there was a whole tribe that they could do that pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, cut it and bleach it and the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So
Everybody's
Jack
doing it together.
Sparrow, like, watches his crew be eaten by these cannibals and turned into a bone cage to put the rest of his crew in, and he's
Right.
just still like Bugs Bunnying it up. It's something.
Yeah,
I
parts
wish,
like the
Well, it's a coping mechanism, Eric.
well, I
Parts
wish
of
I
this
had
movie-
that. I wish I had the optimism, especially now.
It would make these times a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think we just need to be like drunk more then. That's Jack Sparrow's problem.
Yeah.
Sun poisoning and alcoholism.
Yeah, but it's all rum. Is that what's doing it? Are we not drinking enough rum? I hate rum.
Yeah, I can't be drinking rum.
Ugh.
But he's also clearly disassociated. So, like, there's all,
Yeah.
it's a triple threat, really. You have to be alcoholic, constantly in the sun, and disassociated.
Okay, so I just need some sunlight.
Okay.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, Eric. Yeah, part of this movie is directed by S. Craig Zoller for some reason, and I don't appreciate it.
Dragged across coconuts.
Is that movie any good?
Eh,
Dragged across
I
concrete.
mean,
I really like it.
yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing with Craig S. Zoller movies, it's just like, but still, I don't know. I'm on the fence with those because they're bad culturally, but like the first go, it's watchable.
Well, he's like kind of like a fascist filmmaker. Like he makes like Cobra. Like Cobra's kind of like a fascist movie in
Exactly,
that
or
way.
like John Milius type of stuff.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Johnny Depp, and it's very Orlando Bloom gets captured immediately. Johnny Depp is like the king of them, and he's got this cool eye makeup design thing, and that's that was in the trailer. I was like, oh, that's sort of something. Didn't look so good on the sick boot my dad had, but in this,
That's
Disney Plus-
shocking.
Steve, can I ask you something about this Frank Sadak boot? Was he like really proud of the presentation? Was he like, guys, we got to sit down. I got the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and this looks spectacular.
Dim the lights and pretend there's people in front of you that are
No, it's
talking
just like-
and they're going to stand up.
It was more like, who needs to go to the movies? And it's like, I do.
He finally beat the system.
Exactly.
Can you, all that time wasted watching bootleg movies, and now we have to watch movies at home. It's like, God, go to a movie theater. Go and sit with people you don't know.
Totally.
I would fucking love to.
I would-
Steve, you know what that story reminded me of? It's got nothing to do with anything except they're both two gigantic franchises. Remember that time in college you spent like a month trying to download a boot of one of those Lord of the Rings movies?
You're incorrect. It was Dreamcatcher that I was trying to download.
Why
It
did I
took
think
me-
it was like Two Towers or something?
No, because that's like a movie you'd want to watch. I wanted to watch
Oh.
Dreamcatcher for like 6 weeks. It took me.
I think that does come up on our Dreamcatcher episode. But speaking
Oh,
of
does it?
Yeah, I think so. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, I think on the last episode when we were talking about Orlando Bloom and his appeal, and I said I want to go back and revisit. I did watch Fellowship of the Ring now. I haven't watched Two Towers yet, but in Fellowship of the Ring, Orlando Bloom has like 5 lines of dialogue, and I think his whole Hollywood it factor is he's skinny.
Yeah.
He's skinny and good looking and British. And
Yeah, it's just like
now he's married to Katy Perry. Or they may not be married. I don't know.
He's with Katy Perry right now?
they're having a
Yes.
child, I believe. Or,
Exactly.
yeah.
Shit.
You
dude.
know what Orlando Bloom is very good in is Joe Swanberg's Digging for Fire.
You know, I didn't see that actually, Kevin.
It's pretty good.
He's also, it's not a good movie, but he's not to blame for Elizabethtown.
No. I mean, that's,
I don't know. I've never seen it. It's tough with him. I think he's very bad in these movies particularly.
I
but
do
don't-
too, but I think he does an admirable job in that terrible movie.
Does
I
he have
buy
5
that.
lines in that movie too?
No, he's the lead.
Oh shit! I never saw it.
He's
I
like
saw it in theaters.
I could see him being like I think that he just doesn't know what this character is supposed to be. You know
I think
what I
none
mean?
of the characters are anything except for Jack Sparrow. Keira
Yes.
Knightley is also a great actress who has nothing to do, at least in this first one or
Yes.
the second one. I wasn't paying much attention to the first one.
Yeah, I have a feeling this trend will continue.
Yeah.
Eventually, the two of there's one of these movies. I think it's the 4th one. I'm pretty sure the 2 of them aren't in it.
I
and
know
the-
at least she doesn't do all 5. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I think the 2 of them come back for this most recent one.
yes. Fourth one is just, I think it's Johnny Depp and like maybe like a Brendan Thwaites or something like
Ugh.
that.
Brandon, what?
One of those like kids that was in like Gods of Egypt, and that's it.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, no
Like
thanks.
one of those types, and it was just him and Johnny Depp, and that was the whole thing.
He might be a maze runner, that kid, actually.
Possibly, maybe.
Those movies get fucking weird. I saw
You've been
one.
You've been watching Maze Runner, dude?
What else do we have to do? We're stuck inside.
I'm just jealous. I'm just jealous.
I watched it at like the gym like a year ago, which is the last time I went. No, but I went. It was out at the gym, and I watched like 45 minutes. And there's like the first one's about a maze. The second one, we've got like assault rifles, and Barry Pepper is involved. And I'm like, what's happening?
Is Barry Pepper reprising his role from Battlefield Earth?
Maybe. There's like alien bugs, but like collaborator.
What?
Yeah,
there's aliens in those movies.
I'm almost positive there's aliens.
Patricia Clarkson is the big bad.
I can't with these YA apocalypse shit things, dude.
It's
I never
always
finished
bad.
those Hunger Games movies. Like we saw the first two in theaters.
We saw the first 3 in theaters.
No, did we go to the theater for the third movie?
I think so.
Shit, those movies get fucking worse as they go on. We didn't even see that fourth one.
Are they making a prequel
ended up seeing
now?
it at home.
Well, you saw the fourth movie at home?
Yeah.
What are we talking? Shitty?
Oh no, it's not good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all right. Aaron, what did you say about a prequel?
Prequel.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're doing a book and immediately a movie because
Susan Collins is writing the book.
Yes, she is.
Oh, Suzanne, pardon me.
I think. Actually, I might have been totally wrong.
Suzanne.
So
no, Susan Collins is the terrible senator.
That's right.
Oh,
yes,
Susan Collins. Yeah, she's a piece of shit. Yeah.
But whatever. Johnny Depp is like he's kind of like king for a day. Like you get to be king of the tribe, but because they think you're a god, they want to eat you so they can absorb your power and set the god free.
It's
so
kind of like the Chipmunk Adventure.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
If they should have sang "Woolly Bully."
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my god. Yes.
Absolutely, dude.
Absolutely.
Woolly bully, savvy. Oh. It would totally work.
I told you, you guys always complain about like brain dead, like it makes you vomit, just like the visuals.
We complain about you, Chris?
No, not me. I'm talking
Visuals and what?
Like in brain, like the ear dripping down into the soup and stuff like that.
Oh, in the movie.
In Brain
in the movie
Dead.
Brain Dead. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
brain. Okay, yeah.
That
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. Sorry. That is my reaction to him with this big toe.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
I've
like,
like
his fucking toe.
It's
my
awful.
fucking stomach started boiling. I
Well,
was
Chris, remember that I saw that scene of Dead Alive with my grandmother, who is now passed.
Was it because of the movie, dude?
Probably. I think it was residual effects.
What was her reaction to that scene?
She didn't really comment on it. I think she probably saw it in real life before. You know,
Did you get through the whole movie with
it's
her?
a common problem in the old country is the fucking ear soup. No. I turned it right off, man.
Yeah,
on,
that's a
come
good
on.
idea, dude. You
Granny's
gotta save.
here. Come on.
You gotta save Granny from that, man.
That's
Come on.
not how you make ear soup.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oof. Eesh.
But that's what he does. Yeah, they give him like a toe to gnaw on, and it looks like a big fat guy toe.
It does. It definitely looks like a fat guy toe. And also, if you notice, there's a shot where they kind of cut away from that close up, but it's like still a medium shot of him. You can see he's got a fucking necklace of toes, dude. It's like Vietnam. I think it's a thing like, you know, those like candy necklaces you can have.
Yeah.
I think that's like the cannibal version of it. It's just like a little necklace of
You know-
toes.
hey, you
Do
know
they
those
also
candy-
stain your neck then?
Yeah, dude, you get toe stain on your
you know
neck.
those candy necklaces? They're a lot like Vietnam.
So they're in this bone cage. It's the first of two large set pieces that go on too long, where people are in circular things trying to get out of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, but again, it's like it's fun, but I don't need 45 minutes of fun when this
Exactly.
movie's 2.5 hours long.
It's just like get out of this. Yeah, exactly. It's totally cool and fun. It's very American Gladiators a little bit.
Dude, it is, especially when they start rolling down the hill. I immediately thought of Gladiators. Also, can anyone confirm this? I heard from someone, I think I just saw some like passing Facebook post or something. Someone we know was talking about they noticed there was some rando TV station that was playing episodes of American Gladiators.
Oh, really?
Ooh, I like that.
Old 70s ones?
That was the question I had for
Yeah.
him, and I don't know if it's like the old school stuff or like the USA Network stuff in the 90s that we had.
You'd think they put
but
that on
I
like
would-
they'd put that on Amazon or something. You'd think, right? Like this
Yeah.
is just trash. Throw it into the fucking fire.
Exactly, dude. Film Rise would have the rights to it, just like Unsolved Mysteries, which I started watching again last night.
The old random 60s TV shows that I turn the TV on in the morning and it's like, do you want to continue watching whatever you fell asleep to? I feel like if this was on TV, you would have already found
I would
it.
have found it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, it's like, she turns it on. It's like, would you like to continue watching Tombstone Territory?
Exactly.
It's-
like, no.
It's on something called Pluto TV, which I don't know what that is.
That's it's like if you can download an app for Pluto TV on set top boxes, like on Apple TVs and shit. We had Pluto TV on our old Roku.
For some reason.
I think it was like a trial maybe or something like that. Fuck, that's really the only
You
place.
probably found American Gladiators on it and downloaded it to trial.
I'm definitely doing that now. I'm coming back to you, Pluto. I gotta see what Nitro's up to.
I might be downloading Pluto as well.
I'll wake up in the morning. Are you still watching American Gladiators? God damn it.
You know,
Wait, did you get a notice about Unsolved Mysteries this morning? Is that why you're saying that? Because I definitely passed out watching that last night.
I don't remember Unsolved Mysteries. The Gumby one after you guys did it for Animation Damnation was particularly like, oh
Yeah.
Jesus, what was his name?
oh my god!
I
I
went
just
to bed
realized
at 10. What happened?
I thought it was Pluto, but I had gotten some app on my TV called Tubi, and I might
Yeah.
have
Oh,
thrown
yeah,
out my
Tubi.
TV now. Do you guys have Tubi?
I've heard.
I
of
know what
Tubi.
it is. I don't
I
have
don't.
it.
I went there because it had a Gary Busey movie I like called Eye of the Tiger, and it like had like tracking type of errors on it, and it's just like,
Ooh.
Ugh.
Were there commercials interrupting that movie?
I think there might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say when I watched the first Pirates with Jen, my wife, and she was like, kind of sort of half watching.
That's
Last
kind of
night-
how I handled it. Yeah. I like half watched it with you.
Last night when I put this
With
on,
Andrew, not Steve.
no, no. And then yesterday when I watched this, she went in the bedroom, and as she closed the door, she just said, "You sorry son of a bitch," and closed the door, which is
I get it.
accurate.
Jen is smarter than I. Well done, Jen.
So whatever, they all meet up, and Johnny Depp, they all get on the boat. The crew is substantially smaller now. It's just Johnny Depp, Mr. Gibb, who's the dude with the 6 sideburns, who's like Johnny Depp's number 2 is kind of like always like, what are we up to this week, Jack? And I don't know, dude, like, why don't you get some fucking money?
He's the first mate. I had to
Yes.
look it up
Yeah.
because I didn't know.
Yeah, this dude, he's the dude who I said looks like Neil Young. He's
He's
definitely
like, kind of does.
because he's got the Neil Young, like the sideburns, but like you shaved the chin like an asshole.
And he's known Keira Knightley since she was a baby and never acts like it.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
just-
understand. This is like such a dropped thing from that first movie. He's in the fucking prologue, not a pirate. Then he's a pirate. She says, Gibb. And nobody fucking says anything.
At least in this one, the distinction between pirate and sailor seems to be almost nothing.
Oh, they're all just filthy people.
Once you get out to sea, you're a pirate, basically,
Yeah.
That's
or
it.
a
Yeah.
sea monster.
Everyone is so dirty and wet in this movie. They're definitely dirtier than the first movie.
Yes.
Everyone.
I think they had more money for filth.
They're filthy rich.
Our filth budget, dude.
And after they get away, they go to another island, I guess, and that's where they meet Dalma.
Yeah, played by Naomie Harris.
Yes.
She's
And I
having
love
fun.
Naomie Harris, dude.
Yeah.
I
She's
mean,
a great actor.
she's
yeah.
fucking rad. I love her in the more recent Bond movies. She's fucking great in 28 Days Later.
She's having fun in this one though. She's like chewing the shit out of the scenery.
These have to
in a
be
good way.
fun movies to
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're stuck in a swim tank and you're freezing the entire time. But if you get to stay on dry land like she does, it's probably pretty fun.
right. She's also really great in Moonlight, by the way.
Excellent in Moonlight.
To get her services, I love this. They trade her an undead monkey, which is how I get paid. That's like you get your Patreon dollars go into an undead monkey budget, and then I get paid 1 to 2, depending on how well we do in a month.
After we make our monkey pizza, then there's plenty of undead monkeys.
So
to
please
harvest.
up your undead monkey pledge a month.
Are you eating those things, Steve?
They're around. They're just
That's
around.
fucked up, Steve. I heard that shit makes you crazy.
I think that's what caused all this, actually. So please be careful.
Monkey pizza was the cause of the coronavirus.
Please stop.
We do have monkey pizza t-shirts available at our T Public store, by the way.
That's right. Designed as always by the mad genius Philippe Sparrow. So they get to her hangout, and she tells them the curse of Davy Jones and blah blah blah. And she is the one who tells them that the key that they're looking for will open the dead man's chest, and it's a chest that holds the still beating heart of Davy Jones himself.
Yes,
The
'cause
monkeys.
he fell in love and cut it out
Yeah.
because it was too hard to deal with the heartache after.
Yar, this is
Yeah.
the longest live journal post yet. But at the end of it, I'll be cutting out my own still beating heart.
Yar, I'm saying for this post, me emotion is quixotic.
Come on, dude. You're not in fucking high school. You're a full-grown pirate. Grow up.
You're a full-grown pirate.
Here are some My Chemical Romance lyrics.
Something also an important thing to note, even though I guess not really, but Davy Jones can only set foot on land once every 10 years. I guess very appropriate.
That was a deal worked out, part of his parole. It's just, it's a thing.
Yar, I'm wearing me ankle bracelet.
Is that like real Davy Jones lore? Because that feels like a weird thing for them to have added.
No, I don't think
don't
so. I
know.
looked up Davy Jones on like
I
Wikipedia
did too.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't say anything about that. It just said like, oh, he's got saucers for eyes, and he's
Yeah.
like, ooh, a little devil prankster or something.
But is he a squid head or what?
No.
That's kind of a
No
bummer.
squid head.
I do like, dude, he's because we got the movie on mute right now, so we just got this scene where David Jones is like threatening a bunch of people. Dude, he's fucking hitting this pipe pretty hard, not for nothing.
It is pretty cool, dude.
He's smoking on the job, dude.
Yeah, dude. He also he tickles the keys. He's a fucking cool dude.
Dude, I mean, we're not there yet, but who cares? We're jumping around these movies like nobody's business. They make this motherfucker the Phantom of the Opera. It's kind of
They
cool,
do.
but it's also dumb as shit.
Yeah, I do like that he falls asleep at a keyboard though, because I've been there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude.
Man, but like, what could Joel Schumacher have done with a Pirates of the Caribbean movie?
Oh man, that's a great call. First of all,
More
way
nipples.
more fucking nipples.
Yeah.
But it would have
dude.
been. It probably would have been a lot more fun. You know what I mean? Like it
Probably,
would have been
so.
like campy and silly and fun.
You
Yeah.
want that's perfectly explained, dude. You want this to be campy. Ditch this seriousness.
That's why, as much as I don't care for him as a person or performer, Johnny Depp is the best part of these movies because
Without
he's
a
the
doubt.
only one having fun with it. I mean, again, like you said, other characters here and there, but he's the lead who is chewing the scenery. He's having a lot of fun. He's playing it at an 11. And everyone else is kind of treating it like it's Shakespeare, which is maybe not the right direction.
I also feel like he's a bit sidelined in this movie. Am I wrong? Like he's just got less to do. Like a lot of it, like, I mean, like he's kind of the lead character, and you're right, he is. But like he's also like, I don't know, like he's just kind of ceding the stage to a lot of other people. He's like, well, why don't you do it, Will? And I'm like, no, why don't you do it, dude? Because that's what I'm paying for.
And I think,
Yes.
yeah, you're totally right. And I think that's like they sort of cover it up with like he makes Will do all these things. Like he tricks him into, being in service of Davy Jones and whatever. And because of that, it becomes the Orlando Bloom movie for a lot of this, which is
Yeah.
quite insufferable.
Yeah.
Do you think the people who, because he was, like we explained last week, what he was, Chelsea, and you may not be aware of this,
I haven't
was-
heard the episode. Yeah, tell me.
was nominated for Best Actor best lead actor for the Academy Awards for the first movie. Do you think those
What?
voters? Yes.
Wait, what?
I knew I'd
Dude,
get you. I
you
knew I'd
guys,
get you.
you guys cannot see her face right now, but she's fucking shocked.
For the Oscar Academy Awards.
The Oscar Academy
The
Award.
Meyer Academy
He
Award.
was nominated for playing Jack Sparrow.
In the first one, and now you got to wonder, like those.
I'm not done.
No, I know.
I'm
It's
shocked.
It's devastating. It's the same year Sean Penn won, and some other people were nominated. I'm sure 3 really
gotta look
qualified
this up.
black
This
actors
is
were not
crazy.
considered.
But that's where we said this last week, right? That went to Sean Penn for Mystic
Yes.
River.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you think those Academy voters who either A, voted for him to be on the ballot, and then B, voted for him over Sean Penn, really reconsidered that vote when 3 years later he's talking to fucking Bill Nighy as a squid pirate? Like, oh, maybe I misread that movie.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this after we recorded that episode, and I was thinking, 2003, it makes so much sense that this movie, that first movie, was as huge as it was and resonated the way it did, because you know what it was when you think about it. The second one now with fucking squid face people and all these fish people and barnacle pirates and whatnot, it is less this. But that first movie, minus all the skeletons jumping in and out of the moonlight, a lot of that is like practical effects action.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a direct response to like 2002 and 1999. We had those prequels where it's like people in front of the fucking green screen, and that's the movie. This is like, we're out on a boat, we're using all these tropical locations, this, that, and the other thing. I feel like that's why that first movie at least resonated so hard outside of like just a box office thing. And that's why like him being nominated for that role, I don't know, like it kind of makes sense. I don't know if like the like other technical categories were awarded the film nominations also.
I mean, as I'm sitting with it and looked it up to make sure Steve wasn't lying, I
Always smart. Always smart.
I get it as a nomination. It is a very full performance, and he's doing a great job with it. He's a terrible human being, and I don't like saying nice things about him. And the thing about Johnny Depp is, if you want, you can pick what reason you think I'm calling him a terrible human being and just stick with that,
Yeah.
So there you go.
I looked up whether or not Curse of the Black Pearl got other nominations at the Oscars, and actually, you guys, we're looking at a 5-time Oscar nominee, that first movie, because it was Depp for leading role, but then best makeup, best sound mixing, best sound editing, and best visual effects.
Andrew, you were talking about like the prequels have come out, and like this kind of return to practical effects. You get like Oscar caliber actors and performances in it. And I was thinking a lot lately about like the whole Scorsese Marvel debacle, and I'm just like, this is what Marvel based their movies on, right? Like, get good performers,
Right.
do good action, but and obviously CGI heavy like this movie, and there you go.
But that's, I mean, you're exactly right, dude. I mean, you're hiring. I mean, look at these actors. It's like Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom. In this movie, you've got Bill Nighy. Like, these are all like real, quote unquote, real actors, serious actors
in a theme park ride, which is what Scorsese said. And I'm just like, I feel like he's viewing Marvel through the pirates lens, which I haven't done before, which I think is kind of right. And I like plenty of those movies.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally onto something, dude. And it'll be interesting once we get past the third one, right? Because Iron Man 1 is 2008.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see those last 2 movies, or the most recent 2 movies, pirate movies, I should say, that
also
come out post Iron Man.
Right. Also the stinger scenes all over this franchise.
Yeah.
Good call, actually. Yeah, because 03, they definitely have a stinger scene. I'm trying to trace. I mean, it would be actually interesting if someone could write like an oral history of the stinger scene. Like, I honestly would love that. Did X-Men 2000 have one? Does anybody remember?
I don't believe it did.
Interesting. Okay.
I know that Daredevil definitely did, because
that's also 03.
But doesn't X-Men that came out this year have one? Is it when he moves the chess piece? Is that a stinger scene, or is it just the last scene?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good call.
He does move
X2. Well, X2 was when? Was that 03
No,
or
this
02?
is X3.
X3, yes, X3 when he moves the chess piece.
Yeah.
That probably was a stinger, I think.
The Last Stand.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Which was a while into this. I don't remember when Last Stand came
And
out. That's a good call.
It's the same. Or
So this was
Three is what you're talking about is the Last
Yeah,
Stand.
The
I
Last
don't. I
Stand.
never know. I follow the Steve Sadak everything. This is Pirates 2. That was X-Men 3.
Thank
I
you,
don't
thank you,
know
thank you.
anything that comes after a colon in a movie title. But the
And
point
those
is,
were
X-Men
Sony.
3 and Pirates 2 came out the same summer.
Gotcha.
I do think that these movies, especially with this overly long set pieces and runtimes, bloated runtimes, owe a lot to the Transformers movies as well, because it's just sort of like the
Yeah.
idea that there's 6 different MacGuffins that you have to get to put together the one big MacGuffin, and every single time you try to do something, it takes you an hour.
At some point, you start realizing that there's a formula to all of these movies.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I
there's that
mean?
too. So yeah, we meet the undead ship of the Flying Dutchman, wherein somebody at Disney was pushing fucking action figures real hard with these dudes, because
Yep.
it's just like, oh, it's Hammerhead guy. You kids want Hammerhead guy.
You read my mind,
this
dude.
fucking
Hammerhead guy, exactly. He's got fucking toy written all over him.
This fucking boat is the USS Red Lobster.
These dudes look delicious. I'm sorry. Some
Yep.
of them look very tasty.
Some butter,
will
lemon.
I
Yep.
love calamari and squid. So
Yep. Oh,
Yum,
totally,
yum, yum,
dude.
yum,
I would
Give me
eat
all
Davy
of fucking
Jones.
Davy Jones'
Yep.
face, dude. I'll eat that guy's face right off his body.
Deep fry it and
The
squirt some
stuffed
lemon
clams
on
guy
it.
looks amazing.
Admiral Clem's casino cabin.
Got bacon
yeah.
all over his face. Looks fantastic.
I do agree with Chelsea. You got to bread some of these motherfuckers, though,
Yeah,
too.
we
You
do.
really want to deep fry them. Get some panko in there.
Yeah.
Definitely Davy Jones' fucking like lobster claw hand that he's got. Ooh, I'd love to crack that sucker open.
I don't like his big brain sack hanging out the back of his hat.
No.
What
Dude,
is
that
that
thing's-
about?
It's
I guess 'cause
really
it's-
disgusting.
Because
That's
like
probably
you know,
the most delicious part, though. Actually.
oh really? Because it's yeah. I guess you're probably right. You got to cut into ribbons to make it appealing for me. But yeah, I guess it's like the head of the squid. Like
Which
it's
I
just
don't know. Yeah, I mean that's what it's supposed to look like, right? It's like the bulbous like back of a squid's head or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you eat any other part of the
don't know.
squid besides the tentacles?
I'm
Well,
sure
what
you
is
could.
the ring?
Yeah, I'm.
The
I'm
ring. Well,
with
the
you.
rings are on like the tentacle.
Oh,
Oh, but
those-
you're talking. Oh, how do you get the calamari rings?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I don't either. I just eat it.
Well, I guess there's a difference between squid and octopus, and we should find out. You know, when this is all over, we should all go to a seafood restaurant.
That
I
I'm
do.
fine with. I'll find out that way. People sending me pictures of squid on Twitter, please do not. No.
Your
Uh,
Honor, does that sound like a man who's had all he could eat?
the
fry-
frying Dutchman.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, yeah, he just and Will Turner is tricked because Johnny Depp's like, hey, when you get there, could you just say that I'm here to settle Jack Sparrow's debt? He'll know it. He'll know what it means.
It is a real he'll know what it means situation. and
Duh,
what an
okay.
asshole.
Because he just wants a soul for like Jack Sparrow owes his soul or whatever, and it becomes this
Yeah.
whole soul thing. We talk about soul harvesting a lot more than I expected in this film.
Oh, well, 99 souls in 3 days, dude.
That's what happens. So like, Will Turner gets kind of cast into this group, and then Jack Sparrow comes to get him at some point, and they have a tete-a-tete wherein he's like, and he's doing the Scottish accent, which is kind of fun. Bill Nighy.
It's
think it's a real-
okay, but I like when he first appears in the movie, it's way more high pitched
It's
than
a
it
very
is.
high register. Yeah.
But it changes and gets lower as the movie goes on.
Because I care a little bit less every. What is going on?
Oh,
now?
this is taking quite long, is it not?
I just, you know what? I just saw the character design, and I'm just that whole Scottish thing
Sure.
is out.
So his name is Jack Sparrow. So he's a talking sparrow, is he? I'm a talking squid. He talking sparrow. Hello, Sparrow. How are your flight patterns today?
Just tell me which tennis ball to talk to while we do the scene.
He is, but he's like, yeah, well, I read that because Davy Jones was Dutch, and like Gore Verbinski's like, so you should be Dutch. And he's like, I can't do Dutch, but I can do Scottish. It's just
Close
yes.
enough.
And this thing comes to nothing, this weird pact where it's kind of a cool quest where like Johnny Depp's like, look, dude, I'm going to get you 100 souls by Thursday. And he's like, 100 souls? He's like, yeah, man. Don't worry. The check's in the mail. The good coats are in the back. And he goes and he
Absolutely.
does seem to start to harvest souls. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. But the
Yeah.
movie drops it immediately.
They go
And
to
I
the
don't,
pirate
like-
island of Tortuga, and there's some great like sign-ups that are like the like guy walks up, shuffles up, and he's like, "I don't care if I live or die." I'm like, perfect.
And that's where we re-meet. I forget his character name, but he's Jack Davenport.
Norrington.
Norrington, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love, man, there's kind of nothing greater than a dude who's like the villain from the first movie who's like a complete pathetic washout in the sequel. I fucking love it. I'm a total sucker for it. This dude is that like to a T. It's kind of great. It's kind of like the same thing. It's not the exact same thing, but in Die Hard 2, when Dickless from Ghostbusters is relegated just like giving a news report from a plane phone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a good copy and paste sequel format thing. I wish this movie did more of that because I think it's not exactly the most intelligent series there ever was. If you were sticking to more like we got to get the band back together again sort
Yeah.
of sequel format, it would have been a little more fun and flowed a little better, I think, than it does now.
Totally.
I think it was early to bring Norrington back as a like a hero-esque figure in this. I know he's not like he's kind of playing both sides. I get that, but yeah, he betrays them in the end. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like a bad. Like when you meet him, he's like a drunk. He is now a pirate because blah blah blah. Jack Sparrow ruined his life. Also, we should say that Keira Knightley, when she escapes, she's doing a Joan of Arc routine where she's pretending to be a male soldier on a Scottish boat, and there's way too much business again for a movie this long. Where it's like, is this boat haunted by a lady? This dress joke, and I'm like, get me the fuck onto the next scene.
Yeah.
Where is Squid Face Captain?
But
Dude.
again, also she just gets on that boat. How do you get on a boat while it's at sea? I still don't understand.
Look,
That's
you,
a great
you open
question.
up your phone, you hit Poober, and you just you click it.
And
This
there-
one is especially insane though because she's like doing like a puppeteer routine with this dress,
Yeah.
and they think like the boat is haunted, and then she's like, oh, she's like then also like pretending to be a dude, so she's like running over to another side of the boat, and she's like, I think we should listen to the ghost then,
Yeah.
and then like running back over, and it's like
It's all a
Go-
plot just to get to Tortuga, and it's just like
just go there.
just book passage. You're financed now by Lord Beckett. Like I can just believe you showing up at Pirate Island. I
Even-
don't need the fucking backstory of you tricking dumb sailors to go there.
Even better. She could be a stowaway on Depp's ship,
Oh.
just
But
to
it's also
piss
kind of
Steve off.
It's also kind of silly and funny and like Peter Pan like.
Yes.
I think if they had leaned into that aspect a little more, and God forbid, given Keira Knightley something to do other than bite her bottom lip,
That's true.
then it could have been a little more fun if they had balanced. I'm not saying add on to this movie, dear God, no, but like
Yeah.
I think the balance could have worked in their favor if they had gone that way.
But
You know, you
you're
got a
right, they
lot
could-
of cannibal shit you could cut right out of this movie.
Yes,
There's a
you
lot,
could cut
yeah.
so much out, and if you want to bolster that, it would have been something at least more watchable.
Totally.
So now her and Davenport are part of Jack Sparrow's crew. Will Turner is getting to know his dad on Hell Ship, which is kind of fun.
It's like it's a totally fine scene. Again, though, it's a thing where it's like I don't have time for this now. Like you gave me 2.5 hours of a movie, and
Yeah.
anytime the movie takes like a time to slow down and they're sort of talking to each other, you're sort of like, okay, in a normal length movie, I would appreciate this. But right now, like I don't have any time for this because I know there's like another 45-minute thing that's just going to exhaust me right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm out of breath from the last 45-minute action scene. And all these conversation scenes do is make me fall asleep.
There's this scene in this movie where Orlando Bloom is with Davy Jones and his father, and they're playing a dice game.
Yes.
And the whole point of the game is that if somebody loses, somebody has to live another 1,000 lives, like another 100 years on the ship or something. And
Yeah.
at that point, I just came to the realization, I don't give a fuck what's going on here. Like, how could you possibly keep track of how many fucking lifetimes you have to stay at this squid's behest?
Not only that, we fucking focus on this game too much. Well, it's like, I said 5 fucking dice, 5 for 5, and it's just like, I don't need the rules of this thing.
Well,
I
the
don't know-
rules
well-
aren't adequately explained, so you don't actually know the stakes of the game and or how the
Exactly.
game is played. Like, it's not like Bond playing fucking Baccarat, where it's like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on here.
Right.
This is because I think in the Tribune trivia it mentions it. This is called Liar's Dice. And all I could think about was like, okay, it's like a pirate dice version of them playing asshole or something. I don't know what the fuck this is. And the movie really doesn't explain it. They're just like, yeah, I don't know, 7 5s. Okay, 7 5s, got it. How about 9 6s? All right, 9 6s, got it. And then at some point, like the game's over with, and I'm just like, all right, well, what? Someone won, someone
Yeah,
lost. What the hell's going on?
His dad lost. That's
Yeah,
all
right.
It seems like he took a dive to save Orlando Bloom.
Yes, and I think that if the game is called Liar's Dice in 2020, it definitely had a racist name back then. Like whatever it was just called like Italian dice, but it was like, holy shit, dude, yikes!
You want to go down?
Yeah,
you want to go below
probably.
deck and play spaghetti?
There is a weird thing when that whole sequence sets up because like it's like Will Turner is seeing these other dudes playing this game, and he has some like computer pirate explain to him like, no pirate can resist a challenge to this game or whatever it is, and he goes, all right, fine, I challenge Davy Jones. And like,
Wait, what?
dude, they all are like, hang on a second, record scratch. And from like way on the other side of the ship, like Bill Nighy walks over and he's like, well, I accept. And I was like, how the fuck did you hear that?
It's like he comes down to the basement rec room where everyone's playing the game.
It's like, I brought you kids drinks and sandwiches.
He does teleport a bit in this movie.
Yes.
So, yeah.
There is some teleporting, is there not? I forgot about
he
that.
like
yeah.
shows up like when Johnny Depp is like looking at him through like the eyeglass, the spyglass, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he
yeah,
just
yeah.
appears on the deck behind him or whatever.
Which is never really explained. It's like, can these pirates teleport like that? I don't know. I guess maybe save it for the next sequel.
There's just big organs in the back. That's Davy Jones's music. That's Davy Jones's music.
Oh, he would definitely be an Undertaker-esque figure for sure.
Was there ever a pirate wrestler?
There must have been. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Under
fair enough.
tentacle.
So the whole dice game was just a ruse so that Will Turner could find where exactly Davy Jones keeps this key that he has to find. So then there's this fucking whole thing where like he's sneaking into Davy Jones hilariously passed out in front of the organ keyboard, and like Stellan Skarsgård like kind of makes like some sort of a distraction while this kid's trying to steal this thing. And let me tell you something. Orlando Bloom digging through this dude's face tentacles,
Ugh.
pretty disgusting.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Pretty disgusting stuff.
Working for someone.
Yeah, no, again, dude, tons of people coming over this movie. I get it. But for me, man, the tentacle's not doing it for me. And he's just like
okay.
burrowing through this dude's face.
He gets the key in the dice game and he escapes. Now he's on Johnny Depp's boat, and that's the thing, is like the relation of these two boats to each other. I don't know how. And again, I with Chelsea, I don't know how anyone gets on any of these boats.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually no. First he gets on the boat that Keira Knightley was on,
Lord.
and this is when we see the second Kraken Attack, which is pretty fun.
And
Takes
he
a little long.
escapes from like a board like Titanic at
Yes,
the end.
yes. There's room for 2 people there, Orlando Bloom.
Listen, it's not the room,
Oh,
it's
Steve.
the weight.
Oh,
When
okay.
he starts to climb on it, it starts to capsize.
I see. All right, no, I've actually never considered the weight.
It's the weight.
I think it was just a hit it and quit it type of thing, right?
No. I've
It
thought
was the
about this
weight.
many times. It's the weight.
Well, no, she wanted to kill the only man that had her nudes. You know what I mean? Like,
Smart,
Nudes.
honestly.
yeah, seriously.
Nudes back then were just paintings.
Exactly.
There's no cloud. You just got to kill the guy who did it.
Because he could also remember and like paint it again from memory. So.
Oh, that's right.
Just gotta.
Dude, but every time he keeps painting it, his memory fades
Oh
more
my
and
God,
more.
revenge portrait.
God.
Oh my God. I was dating Daniel and he sent me this dick pic, and you pull out like a painting. It's like a Caravaggio, like a luscious cock, and you're like, I just don't know what to do with
Giant
it.
oil painting of like a dick with Toledo in the background.
right next to a fruit bowl.
And a weird baby Jesus that looks just like a tiny grown human.
Dude, when I paint dicks, by the way, I only use pointillism. Bing, 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 bing,
Very Surratt.
I hear you
Yeah.
paint dicks.
bing. Also a 3.5 hour movie, by the way.
Oh,
You're gonna get on this plane, okay? You can come back after. You're gonna paint a dick in Detroit, okay?
Gonna stop at the Red Fox Inn. Hear me? Red Fox Inn.
man.
So whatever. This Kraken Attack's pretty fun. It's Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom teaming. This is when they team up to get the Kraken, or is that the next one?
It kind of
He gets
blurs
picked
It's all
up by
kind
the-
of the same.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean, he gets picked up by the East India trading guys.
That's right.
And Davy Jones gives chase, and it's a crazy thing where they're like, "Oh, we've outran him. Oh, no, you didn't." And I believe there's a Kraken attack around here.
And this is when you see the Kraken's not only squiddy, he's got like a lot of. You know what, Eric? He's a little Sarlacc-esque. I'll be honest with you.
He is definitely. I was thinking about that, like especially at the end when Johnny Depp gets consumed by this thing.
Well, did you check? Did everybody see when he goes underwater and he sees the Kraken in full?
No.
Did everybody notice it?
What, are you
What?
making this up, Kevin?
I'm not. There's a shot where Johnny Depp goes underwater and looks
Mhm.
back, and he can see the Kraken in its
Yep.
fullness.
And he says, "You ugly motherfucker."
No, but here's the thing about it: the Kraken has a rat tail.
No, it does
There's a
not.
flappy thing coming off of
There's
the
a-
Kraken.
Okay, that's his
and
genitalia.
It is not as full as the actual Kraken is.
Wait, so you're saying he's just got like a limp tentacle or something?
It's not even a tentacle. It's like this flap. It's like a wing almost.
Kevin, I still don't know if you're being serious.
I'm 100% serious. I saw
Wait, so Johnny Depp goes underwater
at
some
point in this movie. Johnny
Yeah.
Depp goes underwater during a Kraken attack,
Okay.
Mhm.
and he looks and he sees the Kraken.
I don't remember this shot at all.
And it's flapping off down there.
And there is some attachment to the Kraken, and it's like
dongle.
it's like almost like a ship. Fuck. What am I?
Like a ship,
Flag?
the bow of a ship, maybe.
Yeah. It's like
Mast?
something like, but like it's the color of the Kraken.
Oh.
I don't know, Kevin. I don't know what you're talking
I will
about, dude.
get a photo of this later. I will go back to the fucking Disney Plus account, and I'll get myself. I'll be vindicated.
Please
you got to
journey-
do
I
it,
will
dude. Because I don't
journey
know. I
back.
mean, we got the movie on right now. We're at the dice game part.
Okay,
funny enough.
keep an eye out for when one of these Kraken attacks happen.
I don't want to have to pay attention to this movie again.
I have to because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He's lying.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
At some point, they
I'm
get the
kidding.
chest, and it's Johnny Depp, Jack Davenport, Orlando Bloom, and these two other pirates, and Keira Knightley, the funny pirates. This is
Because
when
the funny pirates are so fucking popular from that first movie.
Again, they would have had their Disney Plus.
They
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
But they-
R2 and C3PO. They deserve like their own
Yeah.
droids show.
Yeah.
Or like a cartoon at least. Or
Yeah.
like a
something.
Timon and Pumbaa.
Yes, totally. Which I mean, again, you called it. It's Rosencrantz
Yeah.
and Guildenstern. These dudes are now like part of the crew because they're trying to steal the Black Pearl back when they're running from the indigenous people in that sequence. And I guess Jack Sparrow's like, all right, dudes, yeah, just like come with us. You're part of the crew now.
Yeah, well, you need
Yeah.
another couple of strapping lads that know how to fucking tie the right knots.
It's true. And I guess also another thing to mention about the hilarious pirate duo here is when we first meet them, they're in like a rowboat, I think, with this dog. And
Yes.
they talk about how I guess most of the crew from Jeffrey Rush's Captain Barbosa's crew in the first movie have since been arrested or something, and they're like these weird like born again Christians kind of, because they're mentioning all this shit about like trying to do better in the eyes of God, and Mackenzie Crook's like pretending to read the Bible at one point.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
It kind of goes nowhere, but it's something that they're doing
It's
because
something.
Dude, it goes nowhere, but they have more characterization than fucking Will Turner himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, can I ask you guys, what is the question? What is the motivation for the Flying Dutchman crew people? Because once they know that Davy Jones's heart is on the line, like, oh no, better stop them or we'd be free from this.
That's a great call. I mean, I guess it's the fear is like, and if you fail, and he like shakes his like
Mhm.
tentacle hand, like that's
Yeah.
you don't want that going places. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't know what'll happen if the heart is like stabbed. Like, will they,
Will they
turn
all-
to skeletons?
Yeah.
Or-
Also, they might just be used to their life like that, Eric. Like they
I
might
guess
just
so,
have
yeah.
come into
Look,
that
I have
place.
spent
They're
the last
indoctrinated.
Yes,
I've
exactly.
spent the last 90 years looking like a hideous fucking monster.
Mhm.
I'm used to it.
It's called Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, a squidman like nursing you back to health.
But also to that point though, like you don't know if the curse, like maybe you can get off the Dutchman. But now you're just a hammerhead shark out in the world.
I
It's
know.
not a lot of opportunities,
Yeah.
dude.
You're
Actually,
like,
that's
what
true.
do I eat? I don't remember.
If you didn't turn back into a human, that's a real. I think like if the curse is broken and I'm like, cool, I'm freed from the Flying Dutchman, I'm freed from Davy Jones. All of this is great news. Oh, what's that? I still look like one of the fucking street sharks from that cartoon. I'm going to commit suicide.
But some might want to die, after years of service in this.
True.
You've already died before.
Well,
It's like the second Jumanji when he decides to stay a horse.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Have you guys seen the second
No.
Jumanji
Oh, I'm
movie?
No.
sorry. Jumanji spoilers.
Yeah.
You can cut this.
They are way better than they have any business being.
They're better than these movies.
Absolutely. But I will say this about that second movie. I think it's actually a selling point. Danny Glover plays a horse.
I'm in.
He's a talking horse in that movie. It's fucking better than anything these Pirates movies
I
ever
don't
did.
think he talks when he's the horse.
He's not talking. I thought he was
I think
talking.
he like neighs and someone's
Oh,
like,
that's
oh,
right,
blah,
they-
blah, blah. He said this.
Yeah, you're right. They translate.
Yeah.
Damn.
If
Damn
I was a shark person, I wouldn't know my biology well enough to kill myself.
No,
Can I
no.
hang myself?
Like, am I a mammal or am I a fish? I forget.
well, at least the shark guy could talk. I mean, like Bill over here, he's got a whole reef as a face. The only thing he can eat is like the detritus from fucking other fucking animals eating other animals.
You're totally right. I mean, at least Stellan Skarsgård's still got like a human face and a mouth with teeth.
And then you got like Wall Guy who's just like, well, I'm fucked either way.
Wall Guy has to be killed. I mean, Wall Guy, you burn Wall Guy, dude. That's like a monster in the thing.
He leans forward and his brain stays back.
Thank you very much. That's another part of this movie I almost just openly outright vomited during. When
he
that
gives-
dude pulls himself away from the wall to talk to Orlando Bloom and his fucking brain stays behind.
Right. And he
I
just
don't
tells
know.
him, he tells him what the dead man's chest is or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another like little character inserted to give you exposition.
I don't know. I thought it was a pretty hot look. I'll be honest.
This quarantine is doing crazy things to us all, I guess. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I'm
might-
kind of into Wall Guy.
I might as well be a wall, right?
So yeah, whatever. They find this chest on an island, and Johnny Depp he opens it up. There's the heart, and he refuses to stab it because if he kills Davy Jones, apparently the curse is still on him. The Kraken's still coming. Kraken coming. So he's like, there's no point in doing that. He's got to use it again. Like, so much of this movie is like, now here's another bargaining chip I have.
Ugh.
Like, every character in this movie has like 9 bargaining chips.
It's true. It's no bargain at all, really. This is where we
And
get
so
the-
when they have the chest, it turns out that he's not stabbing it because of that. But then Will also wants it to release his father, and Norrington also wants it
Right, because
so
then he's
that
going to
he
like
can
turn it
go
over.
back into the Navy.
Yeah, because he wants to
Right.
redeem his name in the eyes of the Navy, and
Right.
the fucking Lord Beckett will help with that. So he's going to try to capture. This is where we get like a Mexican standoff, but it's with swords.
A sword
Right.
standoff is fun.
It's totally
To a
fine, but
point.
then this is where those dudes are like, by the way, if you are having trouble following the movie, here's the motivation of the following 3 characters.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is, I mean, and that's the thing is, like, it's a 3-person sword fight between Orlando Bloom, Johnny Depp, and Jack Davenport, which is kind of cool. A, should be the end of the movie, but B,
Yep.
like, this thing goes on for like we're
It goes
going
on-
in sort of a church house for a while, then
Yeah,
then the spinning wheel thing happens.
yeah, because now the heart is still in the chest, and now the key is another MacGuffin. Johnny Depp's in this wheel when they this whole wheel system detaches from a building or whatever the fuck, and they're Orlando Bloom and Norrington are fighting on the top side, and then Johnny Depp's in the undercarriage trying to get this key. He hits his head, he falls out. The other two continue fighting. The movie continues and continues.
And it does look really cool. The fight
Yes.
choreography in this movie and in the first one is really great. This is what first made me like the Pirates movies is the swordmanship. They
Yeah.
do a really great job with it. They just need to let it be like 10 minutes long instead of 30 minutes long.
Yep.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's just too much at the end of the day.
It's like I feel like they're in a room and it's like we've got all these cool ideas for things that could happen in this action sequence, and then they just used all of them. It's like a fucking Judd Apatow movie.
Exactly. A Judd Apatow fencing movie.
With
Oh,
Pete Davidson.
I remember when I was a funny person. Bill Nighy. Funny people.
That's the one.
I knocked up Catherine Heigl.
Oh, she's gonna have my baby.
It's good because I was a 71-year-old virgin for a while.
Go to hell, can we smoke some pot together?
Now it's me, Bill Nighy, the king of Staten Island.
I'm going straight to video on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sorry that that's losing a theatrical release. Finally, a bonus from the coronavirus.
I'm seducing LeBron James's best friend, Bill Hader.
Oh, aren't I a train wreck?
It's me, the titular train wreck.
Oh no! This is this 40 or is this not 40?
This is 75. Oh man, whatever. So the Dutchman gets to this fucking island, and this is where Davy Jones is like, "May I remind you, I can only touch land once every 10 years. So you motherfuckers got to get out there and do this for me." So then, like an army.
I shouldn't have wasted it on that White Castle trip 2 years hence.
I just needed so many sliders, so many delicious chicken rings.
Oh, are you really, truly Neil Patrick Harris?
I went to the drive-thru and all the man said to me was, "Pookie, we're going to burn this motherfucker down."
Hey, what the hell? Let's go to Guantanamo Bay.
something, a 3D Christmas. I never bothered with that third one.
No, why would you?
I never saw the second one.
Oh,
Is-
dude, it sucks.
Is that going to be May 2021 as you do all the Harold and Kumar movies?
Yeah. Well,
I will
you know what?
not appear as a guest on those. Thank you very much. I don't care if we're still on lockdown, and it's basically harder for me to not be on the podcast than it is to
It'll
be
be
on it.
It'll be the lockdown for the next super virus. We'll do that.
Ay.
So whatever. And all Bill Nighy's fish people are running after everybody, and this is
Right.
a big fun fucking fight. The two assholes take the chest, but now it's empty. Johnny Depp's got the heart in his jacket for a while, and that can't be medically okay.
I mean,
I think a heart in a box is probably not very okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you total like bottom, like worst case scenario. You need like a styrofoam cooler for that thing.
Do you remember the One Tree Hill clip? That this went around. I never watched One Tree Hill, but it's like they're transporting a heart in a styrofoam cooler,
Yes.
and the guy, Steve, and the guy trips and a dog eats it.
No,
Yes.
get the fuck out
It's
of here.
amazing.
I never saw One Tree Hill, but I saw that clip a ton of times. 'cause
Exactly,
The dog is
that's
having a lovely
The
time.
only part of One Tree Hill I've ever seen, and it's perfect.
Was that show like a comedy?
No, not at all.
That was
Well,
weird.
who
Fuck that
hired-
organ donor. They
who-
desecrated his body.
Who fucking hired Rodney Dangerfield the dog to fucking make that comedic move then?
Some genius.
So whatever, they fucking do all this shit. Davenport winds up with
He's got the heart.
he takes the heart and
Yeah.
he fucks off. Everybody else goes back on the Black Pearl, all of the other main characters, and this is when the final Kraken attack sort of happens.
And
Because-
it's a great sequence, but at this point, like I feel like I have been sprinting a marathon with this movie, and I'm like, and it sucks because this Kraken attack is awesome, and they're like fighting back against the Kraken, and like Will Turner comes up with the idea of like wait for the tentacles to come up in front of the cannons and then blow the cannons, and it's
Right.
all cool
His-
shit, but like.
He's getting
I'm
like a
tired.
leadership quality there. The character's growing a little bit by learning those tactics. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, obviously, who's not playing anyone else in this film.
He voiced the
sacrificed-
Kraken too, Eric.
Raw,
he voices the
savvy.
flap of the Kraken you saw in your memory. But he sacrifices
you
the
wait.
rum. He sacrifices the rum, makes a rum bomb or whatever, blows up some of these tentacles. And then it's just like, we get so many lines. Why is the rum gone? Because that's a
Yeah.
catchphrase now.
But this
Sure.
is an insane waste of time character doing a circular thing. It's like this Kraken attack is happening, and it's like the big bad one. It's like the end of the movie, and Jack Sparrow like fucks off in a rowboat, and he's like going away from the ship, and is it Keira Knightley? Someone spots him.
Keira
and
Knightley.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, look at that fucking coward" or whatever. And he's out of the sequence, and so then it's like we're doing with who we have on the boat. We're getting through with this plan. The Kraken's gonna do this. Orlando Bloom's like, I'm gonna dump these fucking barrels of gunpowder and this, that, and the other thing, and you just have to, Keira Knightley, shoot one of these barrels. It's gonna blow up the Kraken and whatever. And so like that's the setup for the scene, and she's about to do it, and then all of a sudden, again, because it's super easy to just get back on boats in this franchise, Johnny Depp is just back on the boat, and he's like, I'll take it from here. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
And Jack Sparrow has this heroic shot of the gunpowder canister, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? Like, there's no point to that at all.
Because it looked like for a moment we were going to give a woman something to do
Yes.
in this movie, and we needed to have Jack Sparrow appear from literally nowhere and stop that.
It's insane. He's like 100 yards out in this fucking rowboat. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, I'm right behind you, love. Let me take it from here. And you're like, all right, if you must, Jack Sparrow.
Because this movie loves to literally and figuratively spin its wheels. That's just what we're doing. And the thing's kind of blowing up a little bit, but the Kraken's still alive. And this is when Keira Knightley, they had like some flirtatious thing earlier where it's like, oh, you really want me? No, you don't. I'm a good guy. She thinks he's really good, and he thinks she's really bad, and nobody knows which is which. And if they meet in the middle, they could have sex. But at the end, she's like coming on to him, and she makes out with him, and she actually chains him to the boat because the Kraken is after Jack Sparrow, not anybody else.
Right. She says, like, the Kraken's not after the Black Pearl, it's after you.
Right, which his act of quote unquote cowardice of fleeing in this rowboat would have been a heroic thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. If he was like, come on, it's what, it wants me, come and get me. And he fucking knows that too, which is kind of why this sort of doesn't make sense at all. Like, he totally knows that. So you're right, Eric. If that was what he was doing, that actually would have been kind of cool, because guess what? He gets fucking eaten by this thing anyway.
Well,
so you could have saved 15 minutes right here.
That's the thing. Is we had to see its angry mouth hole, which kind of looks like an angry butthole.
It does.
This is asshole dentata.
Yes, it is. Asshole dentata made
Lovely.
exactly.
Thanks, guys.
It also, her flirting with and kissing Johnny Depp gives Will something to look at, and he's very mad, and I assume that comes up in the third one. I did not see the third one, nor will I watch it with you, but
I don't remember if they addressed that at all.
I would imagine they have to. He looks pretty pissed.
Right.
And
Isn't
then,
it
somebody-
Norrington that sets that up, though? Because doesn't Norrington start like sowing those seeds earlier on in the movie? Because he says something to Keira Knightley about like, oh, is it sure? Are you sure that it's, Will Turner you're doing this for, and not a certain other drunken pirate in this movie?
Yeah.
And
And then he gets sprayed with this ass knot, and then the one Academy voter that was like, "No, he's better than Bill Murray in Lost in Translation." I don't want. I wasted my vote.
I mean, you can't do retroactive performance judging.
Would that you could.
I mean, would that you could indeed, but when at the time of the voting for the Black Pearl performance, he didn't know, or she didn't know, that casting that vote, they were casting a vote for a character that would be sprayed by the Kraken's ass juice in the sequel.
Very true.
You just never know. I mean, hindsight's 2020, you guys.
I mean,
And then I met the Kraken again.
Yeah, it could happen to any beloved character or performance. Like Forrest Gump could have been sprayed with ass juice in fucking Forrest Gump 2.
It's spitting on me, etc.
F. Murray Abraham and Amadeus 2 get sprayed with ass juice.
There's shrimp soup, shrimp face. That's Davy Jones. I met him.
Mystic River 2, Sean Penn's trying to expand his Boston crime empire. He's just spit in the face with Kraken ass juice in Southie.
That's what
Why
they did.
not?
At
It's a
the,
port.
that's what they did at the MTV Movie Awards.
Best kiss, the ass Kraken and Jack
Johnny Depp.
Sparrow.
Alan Arkin won his Oscar for getting sprayed in Little Miss Sunshine.
That's what happens at the end. They all dance on stage and they all get sprayed with ash juice.
Those pageants get wild.
They do.
That was Greg Kinnear's ass juice specifically.
Yeah, so they fight this Kraken. They sort of like blow it up, not really. And then yes, she handcuffs him to the ship. It's
Oh
after
no,
you.
it's Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything too, getting sprayed with ass juice.
Stop.
I got
God.
sprayed with ash juice, Professor.
His computer's shorting out. Man. That's not, it's not bad on me. It's bad for you, Steve, for fucking bringing that to the table.
You know what, dude? Maybe it'll get cut and maybe it won't.
I
Fucking
vote
come
no.
find me. I'm in my house.
Quarantine is doing crazy things to us all.
Yeah.
What if I did get sprayed by ass juice?
What if we went right to the ass hospital where I get sprayed with ass juice? How about that?
Oh man. So yeah, the Kraken comes up and fucking swallows him whole. He's got the line, "Hello, beastie." And I remember specifically in the fucking theater, "Hello, beastie." This theater went apeshit.
Really?
They were like cheering him on, like as he was taking it to hell tonight, man. Like the audience knew, here's Jack Sparrow sacrificing himself until the third movie. You know what I mean? And they were going fucking wild. Yeah, get the fucking beastie.
Hello,
I do not remember, 'cause
bestiality.
I was in
How
the
about
first
you get
row.
penetrated by my whole body? Yeah.
So he's swallowed up, and that's kind of really the end of it. The pearl goes down, with the whole thing here. They sort of just watch like from afar. And you're like, okay, kind of a great place to leave it almost.
Sure.
But then like there's so much more of this movie, but it's like Norrington, you see him go to the trading company guy. What's his name? Eckhart?
Beckett.
Oh, Beckett.
Not
Lord
that card.
Beckett.
Lord
Goodness
Beckett.
gracious.
Oh my god.
The Dark Lord of the Tea. Or whatever they trade.
And he's like, oh, you wanted that fucking compass. Well, guess what? What if I had something better? And he fucking hucks this bag with a heart onto the desk. And that's sort of like the end of that whole thing. And then like there's this nonsense scene back with Naomie Harris. And we're like giving a fucking toast to Jack Sparrow. This is some more Will Turner getting pissed off about that smooch because they're all like, oh, to Captain Jack Sparrow. And Keira Knightley's like, he was a good man. And he fucking looks like, the fuck did you say about that pirate? What did you say?
And to Chelsea's point, this is like too gloomy for this franchise. I'm sorry. Like we should be having more fun here.
Also, like,
so you think it should be less an Empire ending and more of a Jedi ending where it's everybody's just dancing around a fire?
I just think it should be a fucking Indiana Jones on to the next adventure, you guys.
Yep, you're totally right.
That,
the problem
or
is
I would take-
connecting the
Sorry,
movies.
But the first one manages to end like an Indiana, like, all right, time to keep pirating. Like,
Right,
just
but
end your movies that way.
But you're right. It doesn't specifically set up the journey of the next movie.
Who cares? Who remembers a year later? I watched this movie yesterday and I barely remember what happened. No one remembers. No one cares. Just keep pirating.
I agree.
I think Norrington, like, I think he went to too much trouble. You could have just cut out a cow's heart and given that to him and say like, that's David Jones's heart. Sign me my freedom. Yeah, thanks. Okay, zoinks.
Oh man, that's a fucking fish heart right there, brother.
No, the Kraken too. Yeah, you just I don't know, but fumble it.
Don't touch it with your raw hands, or else you'll get cursed.
Oh, you never know. Maybe there's Cowie Jones, and it's like a land version of Davy Jones, and he's got like, udders for beards.
Dude, if one of these sequels has them go to a mystical island where it's kind of just Dr. Moreau's island, and there's fucking cowmen, I'm kind of on board.
And he's
I'll
got
see
a
one of those
milk
dudes swashbuckling with his fucking teeth out. It'd be great, dude. But so Naomie Harris is like, it's a real bummer that Jack Sparrow died. Hey, would you kids like another movie? And she just lays out, she's like, oh, you're bummed that he's dead, huh? Well, how about you bring him back from the dead? Here's what you gotta do for that next fucking movie. You gotta go to the world's end and find fuckity fuck, whatever the hell.
Right.
But you need a captain who knows those waters. And you realize this whole time, in the last 5 to 7 seconds of this movie, what it was missing the whole time is the best part of the first movie. It's fucking Jeffrey Rush as Barbosa.
Yeah.
And in his line, he just goes, so tell me, what's become of my ship? And he bites into that apple, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. That was awesome.
This apple it's like an apple water balloon. This thing goes up like a grenade in his mouth.
Well, because dude, he's still super psyched to be tasting food again, so he's just biting into shit like an animal.
He knows how to bite stuff well. That's all.
Yeah. So I mean, we sort of ended. So what is the fucking wait? So what's the stinger though? It doesn't actually have anything to do with setting up the third movie.
it's the dog.
It's the dog.
Oh, and he's just the king of that island now.
Yeah.
Get this love. Dog is God backwards. Savvy.
He may still get eaten. We don't know.
Yeah.
God, that is devastating news for that dog.
Yeah.
And here's this dog. He thinks everyone's giving him this attention, only to eat him.
It's so sad.
But yeah, that is blissfully the end of this movie, which I think is the longest of these movies.
Oh,
I think
thank God.
We finally we got over the hill here, and everything starts dialing back.
So we
Glad
flattened
to
the
join you
curve.
for this one.
What were you saying, Eric?
Oh, I said we flattened the curve.
That's like we flattened the runtime curve. I
God
think.
willing.
But yeah, so at World's End. Actually, I'm terribly sorry, everybody. At
gets
World's End
longer?
is the longest movie.
Oh, nice.
Get ready for this. It's definitely 2 watches. It's 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Oh.
I hear you paint pirate ships. I mean, my God. And that honestly has to be why I fell asleep when we saw it in
course.
theaters. There was only so much I could do.
Nearly 3 hours of that horse shit.
But with the previews and everything, you're in there for 3.5 hours.
A little bit of inside baseball. I'm so glad that we're taking a break next week to record our episode on The Ring on Patreon. Gore Verbinski's The Ring.
Mm-hmm. That's coming up, Steve Zadek. I will say this. That was a movie. I saw it in the theaters. I fucking shit my pants throughout the entire thing. I had not seen Ringu at the time. I was not hip to J-horror in any way. But this movie scared the living shit out of me, and Brian Cox's hilarious cinema suicide.
I've seen one horrifying scene of that movie, and that was enough.
The horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that horse gets it. Horse suicide, too, in that movie.
Coming up on patreon.com/wehatemovies.
But that is the end of our discussion of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest from '06, directed by Gore Verbinski. And the next time you will see us, we are indeed chatting about Pirates of the Caribbean. Which one is it, Steve?
This is At World's End coming up next week.
At World's End.
Call them 3, 4, 5.
Oh, trust me, you know where I stand.
I'm with you.
Steve, I think with these, you should use these movies as the example, Steve.
Yeah, that's true. Because you never know which is which.
Exactly. None
I
of
was
them
so
has a
afraid I
number.
was watching the wrong one, and I was going to come here and be like, guys, right? And you'd be like, that's not this movie.
Would anybody recommend this movie? We'll start with our guest for the week. Chelsea, would you recommend this movie?
I don't think so. I feel like these movies, time has come and gone. The ship has sailed, as it were. If you liked it, you might still like it. If you were kind of on it, it's just going downhill from there. If you never saw it, I mean, we have nothing else to do, so I guess watch it. But like, I don't know. There's still other things to watch instead of this.
Fair enough. Steve Zadek?
No, I don't like any of these movies. I don't even think this is that good of a hangover movie, just because the tedium is really large. It's a lot less fun, I feel, than the last movie as well. Although I do think Bill Nighy and this design is really cool, but other than that, not much.
Eric Siska?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the first movie is better, and I didn't really recommend it that hard, so I can't really recommend this one. But I do think it could be a hangover situation, because I do think the CGI really holds up, maybe even more than the Skeleton Men of the last film.
Mm-hmm.
It takes forever, so you could sleep through large swaths of it. But at the end of the day, not really, no.
Totally. Chris Cabin?
Fuck this movie. Absolutely not. Never watch this.
I love Chris's recommends.
Fuck out of here. This
Best.
fucking shit sucks.
It's okay to like a movie. I want to get that in. There's a lot of people that have an affinity for this series. They have a nostalgia for this series.
I'm
curious,
very
do
happy
people-
for them.
Are
This fucking
kids
sucks.
Are kids watching these movies, like little kids, like on Disney Plus, just putting
Probably.
this shit on?
Well, think about like people who saw this in the theaters now have kids, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so those people are subjecting their children to this movie. That's the thing, is like, I feel people, like adults who are younger than us, probably have a stronger affinity for these movies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially like the later sequels, which just like they came and went. Like, I never even, when that fourth one was announced and was like being advertised for and whatnot, I would never for a second was like, I'm gonna see that movie. You know what I mean? I think that kind of says it all, because we go to all sorts of shit. We go to the
see a
theater for
lot
all
of
sorts of
shit,
shit.
yeah.
I can turn you all to ash right now, because a listener of this program I saw mentioned on social media that, oh, I loved those first 3 movies when I was in the 6th grade.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yikes.
we are all super old, and people are even older than us, and they feel even worse about that statement.
Yeah, could you imagine being older than us? There's plenty.
I don't know that I'd recommend this either. I mean, the problem with it being a hangover movie is that the beauty of a hangover movie, like a real, right, tried and true, perfect hangover movie, is a movie that you can dip in and out of consciousness with, because you're so hungover and you're just trying to like sleep it off on the couch. And when you wake up, you can still follow the movie.
Yeah.
This you cannot do. I don't think you can do it with any of these movies, really. Maybe with that first one, if from the 2 1/3 that I've seen,
You can't do it while
It's-
being awake either.
well, yeah, no, exactly. I mean, this movie specifically, the first one maybe, because I'm trying to think. I think last week I said that this was maybe a hangover movie. But yeah, this one, no, it's definitely not. You can't fucking follow it if you're passing out. And if you're awake and listening to it, I mean, my God, that's just churning your stomach. Plus all the gross fucking barnacle pirates. I mean, that's, especially if you were out drinking and eating like shrimp cocktail all night.
Or any sort of rum.
Any rum specifically, that's a good call. If you were like fucked up on rum and you're hungover.
Oh Jesus, that's
and
a
you
bad
go to
one.
watch these movies, forget it, dude, because they're just swilling the stuff that's making you vomit right now.
Yeah.
But that is now the end of our Dead Man's Chest conversation. Stay tuned next week for At World's End. Where I believe, am I remembering right? We are welcoming back friend of the show, Ben Worcester.
Correct.
Hey.
That is awesome. You know Ben Worcester from guesting on this show. He's, of course, the co-host of Eric Siska's Hooked on TJ Hooker.
Yes, the most useless podcast in existence, where we are recapping every single episode of TJ Hooker in order. We're on season 3, episode 13 coming up, and all the guys have been on the show before, so check it out if you want to waste some time under quarantine.
Dude, you guys are blowing through this series, by the way. What do you got, like 2 seasons left?
Yeah, and by calculation, since we do it monthly, I think we have a few more years of this.
Where can they find info about that program?
On Twitter at TJ Hooker Podcast or tjhookerpodcast.com, or just find it on iTunes or wherever,
There you go, for non-pirate related material this month. So this was a lot of fun. Chelsea, I want to thank you for suffering our buffoonery for the last 2 hours.
Thank you for having me. Love you guys. Love the show. I'm really happy to have done this, even for this movie.
It's kind of nice to also talk to people who aren't me and work people.
I mean, it's not like we're not talking to each other all the time and getting a little sick of each other, probably.
Where can folks find your work on the internet?
I'm on Twitter at Chelsea Jupin. I run a pop culture newsletter called Extra Extra. The link to subscribe to that is in my Twitter bio. There's also an Instagram account for it, if that's more your speed, at Extra Extra Graham.
Very good. But yeah, that's it. I'm excited to talk about The Ring next week in our recordings, and we're going to get that out for the Patreon people. Patreon.com/We Hate Movies as May goes on here. What else are we doing? We got a Jetsons Animation Damnation.
A Jetsons Animation Damnation, Eric. Who are we doing on Gleep Glasser?
Oh, we are doing one of the Gormarian guards. That's one of the pig people from Jabba's palace. So that's
Love those
be,
pig people, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna get in the slop with that guy.
Which one are we talking about? Gary?
I think it's like Gartog or something. I'll have the materials in front of me when we do.
It's Gartog. They just call him Gary for short, dude.
For sure. Or Tog. Hey, Tog.
All right. Apologies for this fucking extended outro on this episode. I don't think I've beefed it this bad in show history.
Well, it's just like the movie. We're going to end a few times before we do it. For real.
All right, guys. Now I'm going to bring out the rolling water wheel.
No!
So until next week with Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadek.
RX Seasick.
Chris Cabin.
Chelsea Jupin.
Take it easy.
That was a headgum podcast.